Friday night at Bosse Field for a big-time Frontier League West rivalry matchup as the Schaumburg Boomers are in town in the River City to take on the Evansville Otters. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bosse Field. Griffin Epstein alongside Lucas Daunhauer, our director Michael Rust, as Frontier League West rivals renewing their rivalry for the first time this season. The Boomers eliminated the Otters last year in the playoffs, and we expect these two teams to again contend this year as they're two of the top three teams in the division standings right now.
That's right. The Otters certainly looking to get some revenge. A tough game in the wild card last year that went the Boomers' way, and they had a pretty strong postseason regarding how their regular season went, and the Otters looking to even their slate here with the Boomers tonight and coming off a really good performance last night.
Boomers 14-9 on this season, but they're 7-3 in their last 10, and Evansville 15-9 on the year and winning their fifth series. They're 11-4 at home. The Otters, it was all about the power yesterday, led by Jeffrey Baez, who is on a tear right now. He now leads the Frontier League with 9 home runs.
That's right. All the runs batted in yesterday were off of home runs, 2 from Baez and 1 from Myers. And what a series Jeffrey Baez is coming off of. 10 RBIs in those 3 games, 3 home runs and 2 triples to go along with that. He had that game in the middle where he just couldn't get things going, but what an incredible game 1 and 3 by Jeffrey Baez. He's looking to stay hot here at home tonight.
Pretty memorable week so far for Baez, and he was responsible for 5 of the 6 runs yesterday in the Otters' 6-1 win over Tri-City to take that series over the Valley Cats. Meanwhile, for Schaumburg, a day yesterday they'll never forget in their franchise history as they throw their first ever no-hitter in the 11-year history of the Boomers. Maybe a little bit of a hangover tonight. You can imagine they had quite the party after last night's big win.
Yeah, combined no-hitter by 3 of their pitchers, a really good overall performance. And how about the 2 pitching staffs coming into this game? Otters second in the league in team ERA, Schaumburg 4th, so really good matchup, and we get a great one to start off tonight with a pair of aces throwing on the mound.
Yeah, 2 aces throwing as well for 2 of the best pitching staffs in the league. Tim Holdgraver for the Otters, he has won his last 4 starts. And Kobe Schlottman for the Boomers, he has won his last 3 starts. So the starting lineups tonight that will face these outstanding hitters. We'll start with Schaumburg. Gage Howard, the left fielder, will lead things off for the Boomers. Brett Milazzo, the center fielder, bats second. Chase Dawson bats third and plays second base. Blake Berry in the cleanup spot and DHing. Quinton Selma batting fifth and playing first base. Will Prater batting sixth and playing third. Bottom 3 in the lineup, Alex Craig, the shortstop. Blake Grant Parks, the catcher, and Miles Symington, a former Purdue Boilermaker, playing right field and rounding out the 9 for Schaumburg. On the other side of things for Evansville tonight, they're starting 9. Noah Myers leads things off and plays left field. Ethan Skinner bats second and plays second base. Dakota Phillips bats third and catches. The man right now in the Frontier League, Jeffrey Baez, again in the cleanup spot and playing right field today. Conan Quiggle bats fifth and plays center field. Jomar Reyes in his typical 6th spot, but DHing today. Jacob Olson bats 7th and plays first base. Troy Viola making his first start of the week, bats 8th and plays third base. And George Khalil, per normal, rounding out the lineup and playing shortstop for the Otters. Yesterday, Evansville had just 6 hits, but 3 of them were home runs to power them to a victory. Obviously, Jeffrey Baez getting a lot of attention right now, but who else in the Otters lineup needs to perform this weekend for Evansville if they want to get their 5th consecutive series win at home?
Yeah, George Khalil we saw get going in game 2 of the last series, and he's been a key factor in the games where he can hit really well in that 9-hole. It just kind of sparks and resets things for the top of the lineup, and I'm looking to see if he could stay hot last night. Had some bats last night where he went deep in the count and just couldn't necessarily find his rhythm once again, but coming off an injury, it's just he's such a key factor if the 9-hole can get hits, as we've seen in a few games this year, and the Otters are almost unstoppable when that does happen.
Well, while we're waiting first pitch, we'll chat a little bit about this pitchers matchup tonight. Mentioned the 2 aces going is Kobe Schlottman, a lefty for Schaumburg. Tim Holdgraver, the righty for the Otters. And we'll start with Schlottman a lefty. That's something the Otters have really struggled against, and he's throwing. He was the opening day starter. Did lose, though, his first 2 games of the season, but now throwing some of his baseball. His last 10 2/3 innings pitched have been scoreless.
Yeah, NAIA second-team All-American at Mount Mercy, and like you said, a little bit of a slow start to the season, but he has been absolutely on fire ever since. Won his last 3 starts, and let's take a look at his last start against Trois Rivières. 7 innings pitched, just 4 hits and no earned runs. So coming off his best performance of the season, and I'm sure he's just looking to keep things rolling tonight here at Bosse Field.
It's been impressive for the lefty, and Evansville has lost their last 3 matchups against left-handed hitters. They're just 3-5 on the year against lefties. So over half of the Otters' losses this season coming against left-handed starters. But the Otters have a whole lot of confidence in their righty starter today. Tim Holgraver was also the opening day starter, just like Schlottman. Holgraver has been especially dominant, 4 straight wins, and he's also coming off his best performance of the season last weekend at Joliet.
Yeah, Holgraver, a guy who had a lot of affiliated ball experience last year, made it all the way to AAA with the Toledo Mud Hens and the Tigers organization, and he just didn't really look like himself in his first start of the season, but he hasn't turned back ever since. Just 2 runs allowed in his last 4 starts, and in his last start up at Joliet, 8 innings pitched, just 3 hits and no earned runs. So both pitchers on both sides of the mound coming off their best performance of the year. Something's got to give here tonight, and it's going to be a really entertaining matchup.
Both pitchers contact guys that pitch to bats, great command, and 2 guys that both certainly looking to make it to the next level as well into affiliated baseball. Beautiful night for baseball. The Otters are wearing Evansville Triplets jersey tonight as part of Triplets Night to honor the AAA team that played here at Bosse Field for 12 years back in the 80s. We're approaching our way towards the national anthem and first pitch here at Bosse Field. We'll step aside for just a moment. Defensive alignments and first pitch on the other side. The opener, the big-time 3-game series between the Otters and the Boomers on Flow Sports and the Otters Digital Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and remove your caps as we honor America's freedom, those who have protected and paid tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice with the singing of our national anthem performed by Mike Payton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Back at Bosse Field, moments away from first pitch between the Otters and the Boomers on a beautiful Friday night for baseball. We talked about both of the starters before our commercial break, as Tim Holdgraver is now on the bump warming up for the Otters. The numbers for Holdgraver on the season are terrific. 31 innings pitched. He's 4-1 on the season with a 2.74 ERA. He has walked just 6 batters while striking out 23. And over his last 4 starts, he has allowed just 2 runs in 27 innings pitched. It's been lights out stuff for Holdgraver on the bump. Around him on the diamond, Dakota Phillips behind the plate catching. Jacob Olson is at first, Ethan Skinder at second, George Khalil at short, and Troy Viola making his debut this week at third base. The outfield looking pretty normal for the Otters tonight. Noah Myers in left, Kona Quiggle in center, and Jeffrey Baez in right field. He DH'd yesterday. Phillips is catching Holdgraver for his 4th straight start. Or for his 5th straight start, make it. The first 4 have all been wins. Gage Howard, left fielder, walking to the plate for the Boomers to get us started. A few minutes past expected first pitch time on a beautiful night for baseball. 79 degrees. Wind, light breeze at just 5 miles per hour right now, blowing from left field to right field. Ready's on the right side of the rubber. He readies, kicks and throws. First pitch low to Howard.
79 degrees, mostly sunny.
Boomers in black jerseys today with gray pants. The Otters in triplets themed jerseys as the 1-0 is grounded up the middle, right back to Holdgraver. He gloves it, underhand toss to first in time. 1 away.
Batting second in center field, 6, Brett Milazzo.
Otters jerseys are really cool looking, Lucas, to honor the triplets who were here for 12 years as a AAA affiliate, primarily the Tigers.
Yeah, such a cool nod to the past in Bosse Field where there's just so much history, and we'll get a little bit more into the history of the triplets later on in the broadcast.
Another lefty, Brett Milazzo to the plate. Milazzo takes the first pitch outside from Holdgraver. 1 out, nobody on, just underway here in the top of the first. Holdgraver looking into the sun, the shadows nearly to the rubber on the inner half of the infield. He kicks and throws a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. We had a season best 4,500 fans here last night. I think we're going to reach that this evening, but another great crowd on a Friday night. The 1-1 swung on and grounded right to the second baseman Skinner. Gloves it, quick bobble, but has it, throws to first in time to beat Milazzo by half a step. 2 up, 2 down to start the game for Holdgraver.
And a big part of facing this Boomers lineup for Holdgraver is just getting past those first 3 hitters. 3 left-handed batters all batting above 300, and definitely the strongest part of their lineup. And he's dealt with them very well so far in this first inning.
Chase Dawson, a 3rd straight lefty here to start this lineup for Schaumburg. Takes the first pitch inside, 1-0. I mean, we thought that Tri-City the last 2 days had a lot of lefties, 6 of 9 in the lineup. Schaumburg has 8 of their 9 batters today as left-handed hitters. My goodness.
Something you almost never see.
1-0 to Dawson, a half swing and a miss, 1-1. Had to look at the lineup card and make sure that it wasn't just all wrong and it flipped the righties and lefties. It's very bizarre looking. A lot of L's on the lineup. 1-1 to Dawson is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Imagine you see a heavy dose of Hunter Clucky and Leone De La Cruz this weekend with this dominant lefty lineup for Schaumburg. Those are the only 2 lefties for the Otters, pitching-wise. Holdgraver kicks and throws a breaking ball outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Dawson. Dawson is the head of the snake of this Boomers lineup, a .383 batting average, leading the team with 36 hits, 7 doubles in his 4th season with Schaumburg. 3-1 is outside for ball 4. Holdgraver lost them. Just the 7th walk all season by Tim Holdgraver.
Batting fourth, designated hitter, 34, Blake Berry.
Brings up the DH Blake Berry with 1 on and 2 outs here on the top of the first. Barry hitting .269 on the year in the cleanup spot for Schaumburg. Pitching is their strength, but they've hit much better of late as the first pitch to Barry is outside for a ball, 1-0. Schaumburg 7-3 in their last 10, and while they did lose this past series to Florence, they went 5-1 on a Canadian road trip last week, scoring 9 runs or more in 3 of those games. After a really slow start offensively for the Boomers. 1-0 is swung on and driven into right in the gap for a base hit. Hustling is Dawson all the way over to third with taking 2 bags on the base hit by Barry and runners on the corners with 2 out.
Yeah, about that road trip they had in Canada, that's something we've talked about for a few days now that was just so impressive. I mean, going up there, really tough travel conditions, and a lot of teams in the league struggle heading up there, but no shortage of offense when they went, and now they've moved into 6th in the league in batting average, team batting average of .271, quite the improvement from where they started the season.
Quinton Selma digs into the left-handed batter's box with runners on the corners, takes the first pitch inside for a ball, 1-0. Oldgraver has allowed just 2 runs for the last 21 innings pitched. He's got runners on the corners here with 2 outs. Looking into Selma, kicks and throws. Breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. This is the first home start for Oldgraver since May 18th. Those last 3 starts, all excellent, all quality starts coming on the road. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and ripped down the right field line. It is foul. Oh, so close to likely a 2 RBI base hit for Selma. It bounced just to the right of the right field line. That was inches away from a extra base hit.
Yeah, and would have had a really good opportunity to get on the board first against this Otter team that's been so tough at the plate in the first inning throughout this season.
1-2 count now to Barry. Oldgraver working out of the stretch. Sets on his light blue jersey with the black glove. Comes home. It's swatted at foul. Barry stays alive. Oldgraver a strike away from getting out of the first inning. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. San Diego native. Nods, kicks, and throws. Swing and a miss by Barry. Breaking ball fooled him. Oldgraver works around a walk and a base hit in the first for a scoreless inning. We'll hear from the Otters batters for the first time in the bottom of the first inning. Back in a moment on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Thank you so much, Claire. Pitcher catcher battery for Schaumburg. 8, Kobe Schlotman on the mound. And Blake Grant Parks behind the plate. The pitcher catcher battery powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery to the Answer Auto Repair East, 2319 North Canada Road. Or give them a call at 12475.
Bottom of the first inning. From Eville, a scoreless ball game between the Boomers and the Otters with Kobe Schlotman on the bump, the lefty for Schaumburg. Talked about him in the pregame show, the ace, the opening day starter for the Boomers. 3-2 on the year with a 3.71 ERA. He's won his last 3 starts, his last 2 starts. Quality outings, including a 7-inning shutout performance on the road at Trois-Rivières.
That guy who had such an impressive college career at the NAIA level, I mentioned, second team All-American in his senior year with a 9-1 record that year, just a 1.64 ERA, and he's looking more like himself lately in these last few starts.
Southpaw on the left side of the rubber, winds and throws. A first pitch strike at the top of the letters to Myers. Now, Myers leading things off for the Otters. Kick and a throw, and a slider is in for a strike to Myers, 0-2. Boomers. Black jerseys today with black caps and gray pants, orange piping. 0-2 to Myers. He's just high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blake Grant Parks is the catcher for Schaumburg with Quentin Selma at first, Chase Dawson at second, Alex Craig at short, Will Prater at third. A kick and a throw, swing and a miss by Myers. Chased up in the zone, 1 away.
We saw Myers start the season off so red hot against left-handed pitchers, which was really impressive as a left-handed batter, but he's just struggled a little bit lately, and that average against lefties is just falling off recently.
Ethan Skinder, second baseman, stands into the right-handed batter's box to face Schlotman. First pitch strike. Catches the inside corner. A lot of horizontal movement on these early pitches from Schlotman. He winds and throws. Another strike on the inside corner to Skinder, 0-2. Skinder turns around, looks back at home plate umpire Mike O'Leary with some shock and calls time and will reset himself in the box quickly behind 0-2. Mike O'Leary at home, Drew Taylor at first, Martin Tim at third. Here's the 0-2, swing and a miss. 2 away, back-to-back strikeouts to start the game for Kobe Schlotman. What hangover for the pitching staff after throwing a no-hitter yesterday.
Yeah, picking up where he left off, and we talked about in the pregame show, both these pitchers, contact pitchers, but they both actually are coming off their most strikeouts in a performance as well, and 2 to start the inning for Schlotman.
First pitch to the lefty, Dakota Phillips, is outside. Base is empty and 2 outs. Just rounding out the fielding for Schaumburg in the outfield, Gage Howard in left, Brett Milazzo in center, Miles Symington in right. 1-0 is outside again, 2-0 to Phillips. Evansville with just 13 combined hits over their last 2 games. The 3 home runs last night was more than enough for a 6-1 victory. Phillips swings and drives one into left center. This will get down for a base hit. Phillips with a big turnaround first, but holds up there as it's relayed into the infield. A 2-out knock for Dakota Phillips in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and 2 guys in this Otters lineup that are just so impressive at hitting pitches at the very bottom of the zone are Dakota Phillips and Yomar Reyes, and that ball right there on the very most out and away corner of the zone, and Phillips goes and gets a good piece of hitting to take that to opposite field.
Back-to-back days with a hit now for Phillips. And it brings up the most feared man in the Frontier League now in Jeffrey Baez. 2 home runs yesterday. First pitch to Baez, swing and a miss. 0-1, my goodness. He was looking for home run number 10 right there.
Yeah, some ill intent in that swing. I think he was looking to put that ball where my car ended up being parked today.
Schlotman has allowed 5 home runs on the season. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on and popped up behind home plate. Grant Parks, the catcher, racing over and watching it land nowhere. Well, now it lands on the roof and it falls back onto the field. Everyone was still looking up and wondering where the ball was. Baez behind 0-2. Coming off a 10 RBI, 3 home run, 2 triple series. And right now, if he the runaway favorite for Frontier League Player of the Week, but obviously needs to contribute this weekend. The 0-2 swing and a miss. What a start for Kobe Schlotman. Strikes out the side, working around a base hit in the first, and we're scoreless after one on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
It's now time to see who gets to upgrade the Ashley Furniture Best Seats in the House. Our lucky winner will get to spend the rest of the game in the best seats in the house. So I say congratulations to Lindell and Lindell Fullerton. They're tonight's winners. The Ashley Furniture Home Store Best Seats in the House, Lindell and Lindell Fullerton. And our first winner tonight of the innings of winning receives a first pitch at any one of our regular season game this year. That winning ticket number, you go to the concourse to claim your prize. That winning ticket number 1320603. 1320603. That is your winning ticket number. Go to the concourse. You're going to throw out a first pitch of the future Evansville Otters home game. 1320603. Go to the outer concourse. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 10, Will Printer.
Welcome back to Evansville. Scoreless between the Boomers and the Otters. Top of the second inning. Tim Oldgraver returns to the bump for Evansville. Two aces going at it, a matchup of two of the top teams in the Frontier League West. Will Prater leads off, swings at the first pitch, a dribbler down the right field line, picked up by Olsen, and he'll step on the bag himself for a first pitch out here in the top of the second.
Batting seventh at shortstop, 7, Alec Craig.
One away, Alex Craig, the shortstop, to the plate. Oldgraver looked like he was rolling through the first inning. 2 groundouts to start the inning, but a walk and a base hit made things interesting. He got Selma to strike out, though, to retire the side. Oldgraver winds and throws. A strike to Craig. Craig hitting .238 on the year with a home run. Midfielder from Sicklerville, New Jersey. A one-pitch swing and a miss, 0-2. He went down to a knee to chase it. Oldgraver is ahead. First time these teams are facing off of 9 this year. 2 of these series happening in Evansville. 1 in Schaumburg will actually finish the year, last series of the year at Schaumburg. Otters don't go up all the way to Wintrust Field until Labor Day weekend. These teams will not play again until the first weekend in August. Comes the 0-2 to Craig. Breaking ball inside, 1-2. It's been pretty typical, though. You look at the last 10 years, whenever these teams meet up in a series, it has major playoff implications in the Frontier League on both sides. While we're in June, certainly major implications on the standings early, as Craig stays alive by fouling one off.
That's right, the Boomers just half a game behind the Otters in third place right now, and 2 teams that faced off in the playoffs just last season over at Schaumburg.
It's their second time meeting in the playoffs. Schaumburg eliminated Evansville back in 2017 in a 5-game series as Craig swings and grounds one right side, right to Skinder. Second baseman gloves it, throws to first in time. 2 away.
Batting eighth and catching, 25.
Brings up Blake Grant Parks, the catcher, and the only righty in this Boomers 9 today. Face Oldgraver. Shadows have crept over the mound and onto the back half of the infield. Neither pitcher having to stare into the sun anymore. As Grant Parks takes the first pitch strike. Pretty blue skies today, just a very slight haze. Little wind and upper 70s, another beautiful day. The 0-1 inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Holtgrafer on the right side of the rubber, kicks and throws. Low, 2 balls and 1 strike. So these teams played last year in the Frontier League wildcard game. Actually started, it was through 2.5 innings when some of the lights went out at Wintrust Field in Schaumburg. It's a winner-take-all 1-game wildcard playoff game. The game was delayed till the next day. 2-1 by Grant Parks is swung on and driven into center. Back is Quiggle looking up. It is gone. Blake Grant Parks with his first home run of the season and the first home run off Tim Holdgraver this year. Schaumburg takes a 1-0 lead here on the top of the second. That is not the guy you would have expected it, the first home run off Holdgraver this year. Guy hitting just .214 with no homers.
Yeah, and the only righty that Holdgrafer gets to face today, and just the 12th home run on the season for the Boomers. They haven't had many long balls, and they're last in the Frontier League in that category.
It's a fastball off the plate, too, and Blake Parks just powered it out of the yard. Miles Symington takes the first pitch in for a strike. The 0-1 from Holdgraver, fouled straight back 0-2. 2 hits off Holdgraver, and now a solo blast here in the top of the second. Put Schaumburg in front 1-0. Just don't see batters get really good contact on many of his pitches, especially of late. Schaumburg off to a solid start. Here comes the 0-2. It's jammed foul. It's an interesting mental aspect in hearing last night that Schaumburg threw a no-hitter for the first time in their franchise history. Do they come in kind of still thinking about last night and kind of have a little bit of a hangover, or are they just super hyped and confident and excited? The 0-2 outside.
Yeah, no doubt, but they've backed things up here today. Holdgrafer, only 3 hits allowed in his last performance, and Boomers already have 2 today. One was the long ball, and Schlotman looked dominant in his first inning of work.
1-2 from Tim is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think most teams, too, the mentality has to be in 96 games no matter what happens the night before. It's just one day and you have to move on. Once you put your head on the pillow, that day's over, it's on to the next. The 2-2 is bouncing in the dirt, and a full count. Payoff pitch to Symington. Swung on and chopped down the left field line. Gloved by the third baseman Viola. Throws to first in time for the third out of the inning. Nice play by Viola down the line at third. Solo home run, though, by Blake Grant Parks, the catcher. Put Schaumburg in front 1-0. Go to the bottom of the second inning on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Hoosier Lottery jackpot toss. Our honor bells are going to release the Hoosier Lottery beach balls in the crowd. And when that music starts, you pass the balls through the crowd. And when the music stops, everybody 18 or older holding the ball will win a $30 Hoosier Lottery prize. Pat, Zane, let's get it going. Start that music.
That's always my favorite part of an Evansville Otters game day.
I'm here. Pass those balls around. Great music selection. Just a reminder.
center fielder, number 19, Kona Quiggle.
Bottom two from Bosse, a 1-0 lead for the Boomers over the Otters with Kona Quiggle starting things off for Evansville. Schlotman winds and throws. First pitch strike to Quiggle. It's really cool. Otters triplets jerseys today. Light blue with Evansville written in white across the chest. Quiggle swings and drives one down the right field line. It's a fair ball. Rolling into the Evansville bullpen. Quiggle hustling around to second with a stand-up double. Quiggle has his 5th double of the season and continues an excellent week here at Bosse Field. He's now 5 for 10 this week at Evansville. He had probably his worst series at the plate last weekend at Joliet, and he's quickly responded with an excellent week so far.
Yeah, and a left-handed hitter who hits very well against left-handed pitching, was batting .300 against southpaws coming into this game, and here's another guy that does the same, Jomar Reyes.
Schlotman winds and throws. Reyes swings, drives one to left. Over is the center fielder Milazzo, and he makes the catch. Quiggle's going to tag. The throw is not in time. Good tag by Kona Quiggle from second to third on a ball hit to left center. He's 90 feet away at third. I don't know if Reyes looked like he thought it was a home run off the bat. I was just kind of watching it. It wasn't anywhere close to the warning track.
Yeah, ball seemed to come off the bat very hard. Didn't have a whole lot of carry, but a productive out nonetheless. It moves Quiggle over to third, and Otters 90 feet away from tying this game up.
Jacob Olsen is the batter. Infield is in for Schaumburg. First pitch to Olsen inside. All 4 infielders with their toes on the edge of the grass. They're at third with 1 out. Olsen trying to break out of a struggle to start his week. Comes the 1-0 to the Georgia native. He chops it foul.
It's been a quiet week for Jacob Olsen. He had that game up in Joliet where he went 3 for 4, really productive day at the plate. But how about his splits between lefty and righty pitchers? Batting just 122 against right-handers, but 409 against lefties.
Big day last Friday was against a lefty for Joliet. Takes low, 2-1. Is that a mental thing, or is it something mechanical, you think?
You know, sometimes it's just, you know, your habits as a player. Maybe you just pick up the ball significantly better out of the hand of a lefty, and maybe that's his case.
Olsen swings and chops one right to the third baseman. Prater playing in. He looks back Quiggle at third and throws to first for the second out. That's how you draw it up. Well, Prater over at third base makes the play, just gives a look to Quiggle, saying stay right there. And the Otters unable to advance Quiggle home, 2 away, and brings up Troy Viola.
Yeah, and with both men on the left side of the infield playing on the grass, there to Olsen. Off the bat, you thought the ball was definitely going to get through, but Will Prater just stabs it out of the air off of a big bounce.
Viola, another guy trying to find himself at the plate as he takes the first pitch inside for a ball, 1-0. He's making his first start this week. Didn't play the last series against Tri-City. Actually shaved off his whole beard and all of his facial hair yesterday. Trying to change things up. The 1-0 by Viola is fouled back. Inning 205 on the year with just 9 hits. Was 1 for 6 last series he played at Joliet.
Yeah, and playing out of position there, things may have just not felt in sync for him. He was slotted over at shortstop, a third baseman by trade.
I played 2 games at short on Saturday and Sunday. 1-1 is outside, 2-1 to Viola. Everyone's trying different. They're trying to put on the facial hair. They're taking off the facial hair. It worked well for Austin Gossman last night. I didn't get to see him today, but I imagine the mustache is staying on for the righty pitcher, as he was excellent last night and earned the win. 2-1 to Viola's swing and a miss, 2-2.
Yeah, a lot of superstition we've seen, especially with the facial hair on this Otters ball club so far this year.
The pitch home, swung on and driven to left. Back is Howard, looking up at the wall, makes the catch. Viola missed it by inches as Howard made the catch leaning up against the wall, made the catch right over YouTube, which is on Mr. Fence advertisement. That was inches away from sailing over the wall. Viola just misses a home run, and the Otters go scoreless through 2. 1-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Tonight, so give a round of applause for Chase, Jalen, Gabe, and Victoria in the Tin Fish Fish Toss. Thank you, Zane.
Thank you, Clay. Our second winner of tonight's innings of winning is going to receive a $100 item and credits to DBAT. So $100 to DBAT, the premier baseball softball hitting facility in Evansville. DBAT. So $100 to DBAT. Winning ticket number 420-8986. 420-8986. Go to the outer concourse, claim your $100 in credits to DBAT, the premier baseball softball hitting facility in Evansville. Congratulations. Shall the order to you? For the Schaumburg Boomers in the left fielder, who's your lottery strikeout batter at the game, 23, Gage Howard.
Top of the third inning from Evansville. 1-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville. Gage Howard, top of the lineup, starting things off for the Boomers. Howard takes the first pitch, strike at the knees from Tim Holdgraver. Holdgraver allowing his first home run of the season in the second inning as Grant Parks took him deep. Allowing 2 hits and a walk his first time through the lineup. The 0-1 to Howard is chopped right side, playing it back on a hop is Olsen. He calls off Holdgraver and takes it himself to the bag. 1 away.
Yeah, we talk all the time about that mental aspect of the game of baseball, and sometimes as a pitcher, if you haven't seen a ball that you pitched go over the fence for an entire season, it can be quite the shock to give up your first home run pretty deep into the season, and just be interesting to see how Holdgraver responds after that, something he hasn't had to deal with so far.
Brett Milazzo, lefty batter, stands in. First pitch is in for a strike to the Huntley, Illinois native, hitting .305, third on the Boomers. He's very talented, top of the lineup for Schaumburg. Holdgraver comes home. Milazzo swings and drives one over the head of Khalil and into left field, a base hit. Milazzo with a 1-hit, 1-out knock here in the bottom of the third. There's 1 on and 1 out with Chase Dawson coming to the plate. Got enough of it over the head of Khalil at short, who didn't even try to jump. So Dawson to the plate. What an interesting story he is for the Boomers in his 4th season. Just last week, became the Schaumburg career leader in total bases as he takes low for a ball 1-0. He's a Boomers lifer, and he's still swinging.
Yeah, his 4th year with them, you said he's been so successful. Batted .310, with the ball club last year, .312 in 2021, and he's been red hot to start this season as well.
.383 to start the year. He swings and grounds one under the glove of Khalil and into left field. Milazzo will go down to third, and there's runners on the corners again here in the third with 1 out. Really unlucky, though, for Evansville as Milazzo started going. Khalil, the shortstop, started going over to his right towards the second base bag, only to see the ball going to exactly where he would have been is if he hadn't started going to the bag and couldn't get back in time. And Milazzo on the run goes all the way down to third base.
Yeah, and that was a perfectly executed hit and run. That was all by design, and Dawson a really good job at hitting a pitch out of the zone, doing his job, and just taking it the other way.
Blake Berry swings and fouls the first pitch off straight back. Milazzo at third, Dawson at first. Already 4 hits for the Boomers after Holdgraver allowed just 3 hits to Joliet in 8 innings pitched last Saturday night. 0-1 count to Berry. Holdgraver winds and throws. Berry shows bunt, pulls it back. It's inside, and Holdgraver stumbles off the mound, tripped a little bit.
And going back to that hit and run by Dawson, it was perfectly executed because as a left-handed hitter, you know almost always the shortstop is going to cover on a stolen base. The team would expect you to primarily pull the ball, and he gets a pitch out of the zone that's tough to hit, but puts it the other way just perfectly.
1-1 to Berry, swing and a miss. 1-2. His big chain goes flying backwards on his neck. Got to readjust it and get it back at least forward facing again. I'm always surprised guys baseball wear the big chains. Like, that could hit you in the face. Could hurt. Comes the 1-2. It's chopped to the third baseman. Viola eats him up. Skids off the glove. Bounces over his head. Milazzo scores from third, and it's 2-0 Schaumburg. Tough play for Viola. It's going to be ruled a base hit. It took a nasty hop on the dirt. Viola tried to backhand it, and it bounced off the top of his glove and right over his head.
Yeah, and with the ice hanging off his neck, Berry gets the job done there. We talked about how tough the top of this Schaumburg lineup is, and how about 3 hits in a row. They're stringing them together early in this game.
Dawson at second, Berry at first. 2 across for Schaumburg, and it brings up Quentin Selma. No break from the lefties for Holdgraver today, with 8 of them in the lineup. First pitch to Selma is grounded foul. Schaumburg only scored 2 runs yesterday. They both came early against Florence before their pitching dominated and throwing their first no-hitter in franchise history. This time is called. Ball retrieved out from down the right field line. Dawson at second, Berry at first. Dawson just went first to second on the infield base hits. 2 not super hard hit balls, but both hits for Schaumburg. The 0-1 to Selma is chopped foul. Berry already a 2-hit day, the DH for the Boomers. Holdgraver on the rubber, peeks back at second. Winds and throws, swing and a miss by Selma. A breaking ball gets Quentin Selma. A much needed second out for Holdgraver. Second strikeout of the day brings up Will Prater, the third baseman. Now with the most difficulty that Holdgraver has faced since that very first start of the season on opening day. It allowed just 2 runs in his last 4 starts, but already 2 across today. Facing a little bit of adversity for the experienced righties. He fires a first pitch breaking ball at the knees for a strike to Prater. 3rd season with the Otters. Just 4 starts last year before he was picked up by the Kansas City Royals and then later the Detroit Tigers. Only pitched as a reliever in the minors. He's been a starter all 3 years with Evansville. 1 is just outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, and apart from the concept of getting moved around so much while in the minor leagues, we've talked about how tough that can be, but how about also pitching outside of the role that you're typically used to? Certainly not something that's easy to adjust to.
I asked him after last week, he threw 8 shutout against Joliet. When's the last time he's done that? 1-1 is popped up left side out of play by Prater. Said he wasn't sure, but he knew it didn't happen last year because he had been a reliever in the minors and didn't get the opportunity. He thought maybe in 2021, but very humble, relaxed guy. San Diego chill. He's not keeping close track of his stats or accomplishments. Also hit over 250 career strikeouts earlier this season in New Jersey. Another big mark for now an experienced veteran. The 1-2 outside, 2-2.
Yeah, and a guy who was able to get to affiliated ball last year looks like there would be a decent chance he could this year. And it's interesting you mention it because a lot of times the guys who will have a decent amount of longevity to their career are the ones who pay the least amount of attention to their statistics, and just really helpful considering how mental of a game baseball is.
Strike away from getting out of the inning, but the 2-2 is outside, and a full count to Prater. One across in the first and one more here in the third. Very methodical worker, Tim Holdgrafer. He has flirted with the pitch clock numerous times already today. No violation called from behind home plate. We've seen really all umpires over these first 2 weeks be pretty light. Payoff outside for ball 4. Prater works a walk and the bases are loaded.
Shortstop, 7.
Yeah, Holdgrafer, a guy who usually limits his walks. That is second of the day, and unfortunately it's been a trend for the Otters lately. They had 20 walks as a pitching staff in their last series against Tri-City, and it was fairly uncharacteristic, but not a trend you want to continue.
They've dropped down to averaging about 4.5 walks per game as a staff, and that's just 7th now in the Frontier League after being one of the best controlled teams in the league for the start of the season, as Alex Craig takes a breaking ball on the inside corner for a strike. Dawson at third, Barry at second, Prater at first. The base is loaded with 2 outs here in the top of the third. The 1 pitch coming to Craig. A kick and a throw. It's inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Graver signs the shoulders, gets back on the bump, black glove resting on his white pants. All behind the back. Taking a long look in at Dakota Phillips at home. Sets above the chest. Pitch clock down to 5. Beats back at second. Pitch clock down to 2. Now fires home. And outside for a ball, 2-1. He's releasing it with about 2 seconds on almost every single pitch.
Yeah, Holdgrafer's tempo, the exact day and night opposite from Justin Watland that we saw in the previous series.
That's
leaving
the quickest I've seen any pitcher work all year.
About 12 seconds on the clock almost every time he'd release the ball.
Looked like he had to go to the bathroom or something. Half inning was trying to get out of there as quick as possible as Craig fouls one away left side. Have you ever had that? You have playing soccer, you have 45 minutes you have to stay on the pitch. Have you ever had to use the bathroom really badly?
I'm always very meticulous about how I do it before games, and I'm usually able to prevent that from being an issue. I know other players have not been so careful about it, and it can certainly lead to some issues, especially as a goalie where you're not going to come out.
2-2 to Craig. Swung on and grounded right side and gloved by the first baseman. Olsen a few steps over to the first base bag to step on the rubber for the 3rd out of the inning. One more comes across for Schaumburg. They lead 2-0. Go to the bottom of the 3rd inning on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
All right, Otters fans, we are ready to see some pigs fly. If the Hickory Pit stop flying pigs, we've got Shy and Warner out here to see who can fling their pig the farthest. Starting with Warner tonight. The pigs are heavier than they look. All right, Warner, give it your best shot. Oh, decent distance. All righty, Shy.
play. The Otters are back tomorrow Super Hero Night, presented by Old National Bank. Sunday is River City Pride Night in the dog days of summer. You can enjoy $2 hot dogs on Sunday and bring your four-legged friends. Tickets at EvansvilleOtters.com or by calling 812-435-8686.
Back at Bosse for the bottom of the third. 2-0 lead for the Schaumburg Boomers over the Evansville Otters. Griffin and Lucas here on Flow Sports and the Evansville Otters Digital Network. We're so glad you're joining us on this beautiful Friday evening. Is it Friday? It's Friday.
It is.
Friday evening from the River City.
Welcome to the weekend, Griffin.
Well, George Khalil takes a strike outside. Should not think that's so funny. I don't have a weekend. This is my every day is a weekend, right? I get to work at a baseball game. The 1-0 to Khalil is on the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. I shouldn't complain. 1-1 to the Australians. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Schaumburg is in the tough position that Evansville was in last week, where they had the long Canadian road trip. They play Sunday evening in Canada and then have a 18-plus hour bus ride back home. So you don't get back till Monday evening. The 1-2 to Khalil is outside, 2-2. So it means they really haven't had a day off in 3 weeks now, because they also had to leave. They actually played that Monday before they went to Canada. So you haven't had actually a day away from the ballpark in many weeks like the Otters did until this past Monday.
Yeah, and a casual fan will see that day off on their game schedule, but can tell you, no day spent on a bus ever feels like a day off for athletes.
2-2 to Khalil is popped up right side. Out is the second baseman Dawson, and is Symington, and he makes the catch with his big sunglasses on, helping him shield himself from the final rays of the evening. And there's one away. Brings up Noah Myers with 1 out, and nobody on here in the bottom of the third inning. 2-0 lead for the Boomers over the Otters. First pitch, a slider sailing outside from Schlotman. Lefty on lefty matchup. One time through the lineup now for Schlotman. The 1-0 by Myers is swung on and popped up down the left field line. A flare that bounces just foul to the left of the left field foul line. Myers got jammed, but nearly found a bloop double.
Yeah, sometimes one of the most effective yet unintentional pieces of hitting can be an inside-out flare hit like that. Just tails down the line and gives you almost sure extra bases, and that's almost what we saw there from Noah Myers, who seemingly broke his bat. He's changing it out now, applying some pine tar to a new piece of lumber.
Often what happens on those jam shots. It's adjustment, too, for guys like Myers. That's a rookie first year using a wood bat full time.
That's a good point, something we haven't talked about a lot this year.
Play with an aluminum bat in college, at least at the NCAA level, as Myers fouls one back 1-2. Now, most summer collegiate leagues are kind of to get you ready for that next level, and they're wood bat leagues. But most of the time they play with an aluminum. Myers swings, drives one to left. Back is Howard looking up and making a running catch. What a play by Gage Howard in left field. He's got a smile on his face and a high five from the center fielder Milazzo, making it really an over-the-shoulder catch on the run as he reached the warning track.
Yeah, really impressive play there by Howard, and I think he even surprised himself that he was able to get his glove to that ball. Didn't seem like it was hit all that hard off the bat, but a ball that just would not stop carrying. Really impressive play out there in left field.
Ethan Skinder, the batter, swings at the first pitch. Grounder down the third base line. It's foul. Lucas thinks it's fair.
I thought it made its way over the base before reaching the glove of Prater over there, but guess we don't always have the best view up here.
And Skinder broke his bat. That's 2 broken bats in the inning. How about that from Schlotman? He's killing trees right now. I think the EPA needs to get involved. Skinder's found a new bat and is getting some, what has he got, wrapping paper on it? Is he taking the wrapping paper off?
So that is a different kind of pine tar. There's a couple different methods and forms of the substance, and he chooses to go the route of a more liquid substance that you wrap around the lower barrel of your bat, whereas Noah Myers used a more traditional stick form of the substance.
I did not know that. Thought there was one type of pine tar. Skinder takes outside, 1-1.
There's a wide variety. There's also a spray-on version,
Okay.
and there might be a couple more. Those are the 3 I can think of off the top of my head.
Skinder pops up the 1-1, and the bat flies into the umpire, Mike O'Leary, who's in some pain. Skinder apologizes and gives him a fist bump. O'Leary's all right behind home plate. He's got a smile. He's okay. Ball just, I guess, didn't get enough pine tar, or he used the wrong type, because the bat left the hands of Skinder and right into O'Leary's chest. Here's a 1-2 swing and a miss. Fastball up in the zone. How about this start for Kobe Schlotman? Sends the Otters down in order in the third. He struck out 4 batters, and Schaumburg leads 2-0 through 3 on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Prize for today's 9 innings of giving away prizes is a pickleball paddle set. If Brandon wasn't eligible as an Otters employee, he would have gotten for this. This would be his main prize he was on, a pickleball paddle set. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the country. With this set, you are sure to beat the competition, especially if you're going to play at the new pickleball courts at Wesleyan. So, that winning ticket number is 420-8780. If this is your winning ticket number, go to the outer concourse and claim your pickleball paddle set. 420-8780. Saying hello to some of our friends here. Triplets night. You can see the Otters are wearing those throwback Triplets jerseys. We welcome Deaconess employees. Great to have them with us here at the ballpark. Pro Rehab is in left field with a group outing. Great to have Pro Rehab here. Our baseball buddies in Section 2. In Section 3, top tier Indiana. Section 16, 17, 18, 19, and right field. A big group, over 125 MC building specialties. Great to have them here at the ballpark. And we'll have more shout-outs for some of our group outings and attendees here later in the day. The catcher, 25, Blake Grant Parks.
Three complete from Evansville, where Otters baseball on Flow Sports is brought to you by Budweiser. Tim Mulgraver winds and throws. A first pitch to Blake Grant Parks is low for a ball to start the top of the 4th inning. Grant Parks took Mulgraver deep to center field for a solo blast in the 2nd. 1-0 to the catcher. And for a strike, 1-1. Boomers have an interesting mix of players. They got a lot of really young guys. Grant Parks is the opposite, though. He's a elder statesman, a veteran. A 1-1. Breaking ball outside, 2-1. And I haven't seen all of the teams in the Frontier League yet, but I would imagine they have the most players from California of any team in the league. They've got a lot of Cali guys. 2-1 outside, 3 balls and 1 strike.
One area where I think Grant Parks' experience has been very evident behind the plate. He's so good at framing pitches and just helping work the pitch selection for his battery partner.
3-1 is right down the middle for a strike. Blake Grant Parks out of Yuba City, California, which is in the Central Valley, north of Sacramento. Payoff, swung on up the middle, past the glove of Holgraver and into center field. A hot shot off the bat. Holgraver stuck out the glove. I couldn't find the baseball. It's a 2-hit day for Blake Grant Parks.
Right fielder,
Yeah, about that.
13.
For the Boomers catcher, a guy who came into this game the lowest batting average out of any players in the lineup today, and 2 very hard to hit balls off the bat to start off his evening here in Evansville.
So it brings up Miles Symington with a runner aboard and nobody out. First pitch to Symington is swung on and driven into center field. It's down for a base hit. 1 hopping in front of Quiggle. There's 2 on with nobody out.
Back to the top of the
And the
order.
Boomers are booming offensively with their 8th hit. Wow.
Yeah, the hits just keep coming, and if you're Tim Holgrafer, not what you want to see from the bottom of the lineup for the Boomers as well, because now you're right back into those top 4 hitters for Schaumburg that have just been so tough at the plate throughout this season.
Brings up Gage Howard with 2 on and nobody out. Howard, one of the more dangerous guys in this lineup. The 0 for 2, swings at the first pitch, drives it to right. Coming in is Baez, won't get there. 1 hops in front of him. Grant Parks has held at third, and the bases are loaded here in the top of the 4th inning.
Center fielder, 6.
Back to back to back base hits, and the Boomers swinging away on first pitches too, and back-to-back at-bats have loaded the bases for Brett Milazzo with nobody out. It's just really shocking to see. It reminds me of opening day for Tim Holgraver. So dominant, and you just don't expect to see this from him. Milazzo, a lefty with the bases juiced to nobody out. First pitch, swing and a miss, 0-1. Milazzo with a base hit back in the 3rd and came around to score. He's 1 for 2 on the day. 13 runs batted in on this season, 3rd best on the Boomers. He's got a huge opportunity here to extend a 2-0 lead in the 4th. Holgrafer nuts. Kicks and throws. Swung on and grounded to the first baseman. Olsen takes a tough hop. He fields it, throws to second. Back to first, not in time. But the Otters will get it out as Grant Parks scores from 3rd, 1 away. That took an absolutely devastating hop off the side of the grass. And Olsen made an impressive play to still snare the ball. That ended up bouncing up near his face and then through to second to get the force there.
Yeah, some really impressive reflexes by the Otters utility player who's at first base today. We've seen a lot of balls this year take some vicious hops off of a pretty big lip off the infield grass here at Bosse Field.
So runners on the corners with 1 out, another across here in the 4th. It's 3-0. Now it's Dawson who swings at a pitch off the end of the bat. Viola Fields throws a second to 1 to first, not in time. The Otters get a second out, but the Boomers get a second run of the inning, and it's 4-0 Schaumburg. Viola tried to turn the double play, but with Dawson the fastest runner on this Schaumburg team, there was not really much of a chance.
Yeah, and some good situational hitting there by Milazzo and Dawson, both hitting into fielder choices, but that's what you got to do with runners on early in the inning, is just make sure you're at least putting the ball in play, putting it on the ground, and giving yourself a chance to score those runs.
Blake Berry, the batter. DH is 2 for 2 today, but takes the first pitch strike from Holgrafer. Now just a runner at first, which is Dawson, with 2 outs here in the 4th, but 2 runs have come across. 4-0 Schaumburg. Oldgraver kicks and throws, and Barry bounces one off his foot and collapses on the dirt. He's back on his feet, but in some serious pain, leaning over and just propping the bat up right now to keep him standing. Oh, serious limp by Barry.
He's got one of those foot and ankle shields on his front foot, but unfortunately I think that ball just caught one of the few spaces in your ankle area that is not covered, and he had some pretty solid contact off the ball. It just went straight down into his foot very hard.
It's all right. Back into the batter's box. Tough kid from Petaluma, California. Runner goes. Pitch is outside for a ball. Throw by Phillips down to second. A good one, but too big of a jump by Dawson, who has his 12th stolen base of the season. He is 12 for 12 now, stealing bags. So he's in scoring position, but a 1-2 count to Barry with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. 2 runs have come across for Schaumburg and a 4-0 lead for the Boomers. Oldgraver peeking back at second and comes home. Swung on a comebacker right back to Oldgraver. Easily gloved, runs over to first, underhand toss to Olsen for the 3rd out of the inning, and Barry is really limping. He did not make it far down the first base line. I don't know if he's going to be all right to continue. Schaumburg, though, gets 2 more runs, and they lead 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
It's time to show us your best smiles from the Paramount Dental Smile King. Over 300,000 members trust Paramount Dental, based right here in the Hoosier state of Indiana. Paramount Dental has been ensuring smiles for more than 37 years. Keep smiling with Paramount Dental. Our Otters Digital Network camera is getting all those fantastic smiles here at the ballpark. Don't forget to check out Frontier League and the Evansville Otters on Flow Sports, the official streaming partner of the Frontier League. Never miss a game and follow along all the way to the championship. Visit EvansvilleOtters.com for links to watch and subscribe today for all Frontier League and Flow Sports content. Also saying hello to Sunbelt in the Corona Extra Patio Deck, decks 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The Flynn's are in decks 8, 9, and 10, celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to the Flynn's. Happy 42nd birthday to Emily Turner. Emily Turner celebrating 42. And we'd like to welcome Mark Christensen and his traveling crew, Joe and Larry. And from San Francisco, they're visiting Bosse Field for the very first time. Hello to Mark and his traveling crew, Joe and Larry from San Francisco, visiting Bosse Field. Great to have you with us.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Schaumburg leading Evansville 4-0. All Boomers to start this ball game. Evansville has, over the last week, dating all the way back to Tuesday, does not have a win or losing streak of more than a game as Phillips takes a first pitch strike. They have alternated wins and losses for the last 8 straight games. A win one day, a loss the next day. The 0-1 to Phillips is swung on and grounded off the side of the mound and into right field, a base hit. Dawson at second dove but couldn't get there. A little skid off the side of the right side of the mound helped give some extra momentum to the ball. And base hit for Phillips.
How about Dakota Phillips? 2 base hits to start this game off of a left-handed opposition on the mound, and both pitches on the outside of the plate. That one a slider that ran way across the plate, but he stays locked in on it and drives it up the middle.
Jeffrey Baez, right fielder, to the plate. Struck out his first time, but there's still a little bit of a buzz as he comes to the plate. Swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. With his 9 home runs, leading the league. Entering tonight, I haven't checked if the 4 guys behind him, if anyone has hit a home run. Zimmerman at Gateway behind him, as is Brocado at Washington. And Ray Walton Barnum at New Jersey. The 0-1, strike on the outside corner, 0-2.
Yeah, and all the swings we've seen Baez take early on in this game have been very big hacks at the plate. He's pulling his head and his shoulder out, which sometimes, coming off of a big slugging streak, you just got to kind of keep yourself in check and remember your really basic mechanics there at the plate.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, a foul tip into the glove. Baez, frustrated, flips his bat up in the air and watches it fall onto the ground. He struck out his first 2 times to the plate. There's one away here in the 4th. Phillips still at first, brings up Quiggle to the plate, who had a leadoff double back in the 2nd inning and was stranded at 3rd base. Quiggle on a great week now with 5 hits on the week in just his 4th game. Stepping off is Schlotman and throwing over to first. Phillips steps back on safely. Quiggle has reached base this season in 20 of his 21 games played. First pitch is outside to Kona. Consistency has been impressive by the center fielder, who joined the team a few days into the season and since then has started every single game. The 0-1 is outside, 2-0.
Yeah, and I think that just speaks a lot to his approach at the plate. A guy who came onto this roster not at the beginning of the season, but you have those days as a ball player where you're just not hitting the ball well, but you can still put together really effective at-bats, and Kona Quiggle does so well at that.
Quiggle takes side, 3-0. Going to reach for the 2nd time today. Schlotman has fallen behind. He doesn't have a walk on the day. He's allowed just 3 base runners on 3 hits. Southpaw kicks and throws. Quiggle swings at the 3-0 and rips it down the right field line, just foul. He narrowly missed another double down the right field line.
Yeah, how about that? The green light on a 3-0 pitch from Andy McCulley. And I guess Kona Quiggle, a guy who has such a high on-base percentage, you can trust him that he's going to make a good decision on a 3-0 pitch. He makes the most out of that one, but it just goes foul.
Interesting, maybe now at 3-1 does he tick. Schlotman peeks back at first, kicks and throws. No, Quiggle's swinging away, and he fouls it straight back. So Schlotman's worked it back to a full count with 1 out and 1 on in the bottom of the 4th. A 4-0 lead for Schaumburg, and the Otters, who have been awfully quiet at the plate of late, shut out in 2 of their last 4 games, still scoreless today. Comes the payoff. Swung on and driven high in the air to right field. Drifting over is the center fielder Milazzo, and he will make the catch in right center, 2 away.
Designated hitter number 28, Omar Reyes.
Omar Reyes, DH, comes to the plate with 2 outs, and Phillips still at first. The Otters have their 2nd inning here where they got a leadoff runner with a base hit, but nothing so far going after Phillips' base hit here in the 4th. Schlotman comes home and Reyes fouls it off. That's the 50th pitch of the outing for Schlotman. Looking for his 4th straight win today, his 3rd straight quality outing, and he's now gone 15 straight innings without allowing a run for Schlotman. Fires home, Reyes swings, pops one up down the right field line in foul territory over the head of Selma. He can't get there, but it's 0-2.
Yeah, Schlotman, not a big strikeout pitcher, even though he has 4 Ks on the evening tonight. And coming off his last performance, which was the deepest he went into a game this year, 7 innings against Trois-Rivières in that win, keeping his pitch count down here tonight as well.
Righty from Coralville, Iowa. Winds and throws inside, 1-2. Coralville, right outside of Iowa City, a suburb. It's home to the Iowa volleyball team's home gym. It's got some good restaurants as well, I've been told. 1-2 to Reyes is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Have you made the trip to Coralville before?
I can't say that I have. Have you called a volleyball game there?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
I've watched one, so that's somewhat my knowledge. I know some people that have gone to visit Iowa City and have stayed in Coralville or enjoyed some of the good food there. 2-2, swung on and driven into right center. This will get down for a base hit. Omar Reyes with a base hit up the middle. And the Otters have 2 on with 2 out. A chance for some comeback runs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, and Jomar Reyes, one of those guys on the Otters roster that we talked about, so good at hitting against left-handed pitching. He was hitting .462 against lefties coming into this game, and he just seems to pick up the ball so well out of their hand.
Brings up Jacob Olson with 2 on and 2 out. Bare-handed Olson, no batting gloves for the last couple weeks. Takes a first pitch strike at the letters. That Olson disagrees with the call. 0-1.
I really like the no batting gloves look. I think it sends such a great message, and it just looks so old school down there. Makes you look like a really gritty player.
There's no doubt Olson is that. Had a lot of success last week in a Joliet with it. The 0-1 is popped up high in the air and shallow left. Back as the shortstop. Craig, he's under it and makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. The Otters strand 2 in the 4th. They're still scoreless. 4-0. Schaumburg leads on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Otters fans, please welcome to the field your Southwest Graphics Evansville Otter Bells.
Have you seen any other around lately? Make sure you tell them hello when you do. Evan's excited to see all of our fans here tonight and encourage you to visit Heritage. Roger Benke needs Heritage, proud sponsor of the Evansville Otters. Our 4th prize tonight, we've got a gift certificate for merch at the Otterston Team Store, $75 worth. That winning ticket number 1320610 for $75 at the Otterston Team Store. My good friend Ron Detrail, 1320610. Leading off, first baseman 18, Quentin Selma.
4 complete from Bosse Field, and it's a 4-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville. At the top of the 5th inning, it's all Boomers in the opener so far of this 3-game series between Frontier League rivals. Tim Holgraver back on the bump. Winds and throws a first pitch strike into Selma. Holgraver has allowed 8 hits on 4 runs today and 2 walks. It has been a struggle of a start for the Otters ace. The 0-1, Selma grounds foul. This is the most hits Holgraver has allowed on the season, and after allowing 2 runs over his last 4 starts, he has allowed 4 today. Not the Tim Holgraver we have seen most of the year. Right to the Boomers, though. The 0-2 to Selma is grounded foul.
And I know you mentioned earlier, it just seems eerily similar to his opening day start against Washington. A guy who pitches to contact a lot, but just so many hard hit balls, similar to what we saw in that performance.
That was a Friday night. The 0-2, swing and a miss, one away. And he also got no run support in that. The Otters got shut out in that game against Washington's A's. The temperature was similar.
I don't know how you remember that.
It was deja vu all over again. It was opening day. How could I forget?
That's a fair point.
One away brings up Prater. Now 7 of the 9 Boomers have reached base today as Prater takes outside for a ball 1-0. Selma, though, already will wear the sombrero. He's struck out 3 times. Those are all 3 of Holdgrafer's strikeouts today. 1-0 to Prater, outside 2-0.
Maybe the quickest we've seen someone accomplish that in a game this year. First 3 at-bats in just 5 innings.
The 2-0 to Prater is on the inside corner for a strike, 2-1. Base is empty, 1 out. Top of the 5th, 4-0 lead for Schaumburg. It's a strange expression, the sombrero, because I think wearing a sombrero is a great thing. It's a terrific form of a hat. The 2-1 to Prater is fouled away, 2-2. I have to look up what the origin of is.
We will have to look that up. Seems like something that if you heard it as a very, very casual fan would have a positive connotation, but not something you want to be affiliated with.
I mean, who wouldn't want to wear a sombrero? It's stylish. It blocks the sun. It's cultured. The 2-2. Prater swings and drives one down the left field line. Myers racing over and makes the catch. Running into foul territory for the second out of the inning. First 2 retired for Holdgrafer here in the 5th. Brings up Alec Craig, the shortstop, with 2 outs and nobody on. For those unfamiliar, the sombrero, wearing the sombrero, you struck out 3 times. Wearing the golden sombrero, you struck out 4 times. And wearing the platinum sombrero, very rarely accomplished, you have struck out 5 times. You've done it 6 times. I don't even know what that would be called. Craig swings, grounds it right field line, and just foul to the right of the first base bag. Olsen gloved it, but clearly to the right of the line. The only thing I know sombreros in baseball otherwise is when Fernando Valenzuela would pitch back in the day for the Dodgers, one of the great Dodger pitchers, that people would come and wear sombreros to his starts because he became such this sensation. He was an incredible sensation in LA during his time. The 0-1 to Craig is in for a strike, 0-2. And Vin Scully would have a great call when he'd get a strikeout or a big game and go, throw your sombreros into the air. 0-2 to Craig is inside 1-2. Now maybe he was making some batters wear the sombrero.
Sure, he certainly was, given the trend that was associated with him.
One-two pitch from Holdgrafer is low, 2-2. Sun's last rays of the week, reflecting out on the Crawford Door building out past center field and on the other side of Heidelbach Avenue. Sky is darkening, lights are on. We're in the top of the 5th from the River City. The 2-2 is chopped. Left side past the diving Viola and into left field. Holdgrafer cannot buy a 1-2-3 inning. It's the 3rd time he's gotten 2 outs to start an inning, but hasn't been able to finish it.
Really good at bat there by Craig, the other guy in the lineup who hadn't yet reached base, and he battles late into a count and just really an effective piece of hitting, a really short swing that he just pokes a breaking ball over there into a hole.
Blake Grant Parks fouls the first pitch he sees. It is the 9th hit of the game for Schaumburg. except for the home run by this man, Grant Parks. They've all been base hits. A lot of deep balls, not even super hard hit, just well placed, getting contact. Been the name of the game by Schaumburg today. So Holdgraver throws over to first. Craig back in safely. Comes the 0-1. It's swung on and grounded right to Olsen at first, down to Anita Glovett, and steps on first base for the third out of the inning. First time since the first inning that Schaumburg does not score, but it's 4-0. Boomers over the Otters. Go to the bottom of the fifth on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Once again, the winning ticket number for the Otters Team Store, $75. Gift card 13200610. 13200610 for $75 in Otters Team Store merchandise. 13200610. Otter Concourse.
Halfway home for Bosse Field. Moved to the bottom of the fifth inning. Schaumburg has a 4-0 lead over the Evansville Otters. Otters bats have been very quiet to start the night, and Schaumburg has totaled 9 hits through the first 5 innings and putting up 4 runs. It's been all Boomers to start. Schaumburg coming off throwing their first ever no-hitter in franchise history yesterday, and big question was, would there be a hangover? Certainly the answer is no. They have come out red hot into their first series of the season against their rivals from the south. Viola will lead things off for the Otters and takes a first pitch strike. Third baseman flew out his first time up to the plate and fouls one back, 0-2. Otters are 3.5 games back of first place in Gateway entering the night. Schaumburg 4 games back of Gateway. These teams second and third respectively. The 0-2 is swung on and driven to right. Back is Symington and makes a jogging catch a few steps from the track. 1 away.
We mentioned in the pregame show and the warm-ups the retro Evansville triplets jerseys the Otters are sporting tonight. For those of you who aren't super familiar with the history of Evansville or Bosse Field, the triplets were a AAA team who competed and existed from 1970 to 1984. They were, throughout their franchise history, affiliated with 3 different Major League Ball clubs.
George Khalil stands in. Righty takes the first pitch inside.
As Griffin mentioned, the club they spent the longest time affiliated with was the Detroit Tigers.
1-0 outside, 2-0.
Also had a period of time with the Minnesota Twins and the Milwaukee Brewers as well. So some Midwest ball clubs that they were associated with.
Well, they were the smallest market in AAA. They were here. The 2-0 is up and away 3-0. The team would, when they left, would relocate to Nashville. About 3.5 hours or 2.5 hours or so south of here, but much bigger market. 3-0 in for a strike to Khalil, 3-1.
That's right. Modern day, they are now the franchise that would become the Nashville Sounds. But they had some success here despite being a smaller market minor league team.
3-1 on the outside corner for a strike. Khalil thought it was a ball. He's shaking his head. He had taken a few steps towards first base.
They won the AAA class title one time and their league title on 3 different occasions. And some big name baseball figures had appearances. Kirk Gibson, a notable alumni, and also Jim Leland, the future manager of the Tigers, once managed the Triplets.
Payoff to Khalil, ground ball to the third baseman, Prater, and it bounces over his glove and into left field. It's in no man's land, and Khalil will race down to second. Prater couldn't get his body in front of it, tried to play it off a bounce at third, and it skidded right over his glove and down the left field line. It took forever for the shortstop Craig to get there, and the alert Khalil races down to second.
Yeah, some really good awareness there by George Khalil. It'll go down as an E5, so no base hit on his statistics, but you see a lot of players won't always hustle out and soft infield grounder, but not only did he hustle out, he had the awareness to pick his head up and round first base very hard once he saw the ball make its way into the outfield. And when he saw it was going to take a while for Craig to make his way over, he did a really good job of go ahead and putting himself into scoring position on a night where the Otters have struggled here at the plate.
Jake Joyce, the pitching coach, was out to have a word with the lefty Schlotman, who's still at only 65 pitches. Here with an out in the bottom of the 5th. The bullpen is empty for Schaumburg, but a couple guys up and stretching. Schlotman winds and throws, and Myers, the lefty, takes low for a ball, 1-0. Khalil at second with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. The Otters trailing by just 4. It feels like a lot more, but 1 or 2 swings of the bat, and Evansville is in a tight ball game. The 1-0 pitch, outside, 2-0. The Otters have only won 4 games this season in which they've trailed. Evansville, though, has led in nearly every game this season. Has been the first team to score. Just leads wire to wire for most of their wins. That's how they've won. Trying to change that tonight. Myers swings and misses at the 1-1. Evansville is 1-7 when trailing after the 5th, and they have not won a game when trailing after the 6th inning or later. Schlotman peeks back at second, kicks and throws. Myers swings and grounds one right at the second baseman, Dawson. Gloves it, throws to first in time, 2 away. Brings up Ethan Skidner with Khalil advancing to third and 2 away. Now, I was really surprised, Lucas. You mentioned Kirk Gibson, probably the best player to come through with the Evansville Triplets in their 12 years here as a AAA affiliate. He was with the Tigers organization at the time, of course. He's probably known for the most famous hit in baseball history, would you say? Ethan Skidner at the plate, swings and misses at the first pitch. Walk-off home run for Gibson in the World Series for the Dodgers off Dennis Eckersley of the A's.
Certainly up there for most famous moments in baseball history.
One is inside, 1-1. Maybe the most, certainly I think the most famous home run trot around the bases by Gibson, who had pinch hit. He had been hurt, not expected to play. Tommy Lasorda makes the bold move to bring him off the bench with 2 outs in the 9th to pinch hit. He hits a home run and kind of stumbling around the bases with a famous arm movement that anyone that's watched it would know it better than I could describe it. Skidner pops it up right side. First baseman Selma is there, and he makes the catch in foul territory. So the Otters put a runner in scoring position for the third inning, but again, it cannot bring them home. They're scoreless through 5, a 4-0 lead for Schaumburg on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Fifth inning prize is a $100 gift card to Doc Sports Bar over on Stringtown. Wearing trivia chips, by the way. Doc.
Frontier League Baseball on Flow Sports is brought to you by Old National Bank. Your bank for Evansville, your bank for life.
That winning ticket number 1320705. Doc Sports Bar.
Evansville trails Schaumburg 4-0 with 5 complete here from Bosse Field on a Friday night. A pitcher's duel between the two aces of these staffs tonight. Kobe Schlottman has certainly had the better of Tim Holdgraver. 9 hits off Holdgraver through the first 5 innings. He does remain on the bump, though, for the 6th inning. Holdgraver at 88 pitches working here into the 6th, and if nothing else, just trying to eat a few more outs and keep the Otters pitching staff rested for the rest of the series. Still only a 4-run game, too. The Otters bats, though, just looking really quiet at the plate against Schlottman, who's been lights out. Miles Symington played 2 years at Purdue and graduated from South Alabama. Will lead things off for the Boomers. Lefty batter here in the top of the 6th. First pitch to Symington is swung on and fouled right off Phillips, and Phillips is in some pain. Andy Flagg, the athletic trainer, along with her assistant, running on out to have a word with Dakota Phillips. Andy McCauley seemed concerned. I think he might have got hit up near the face. Andy McCauley ran out right away. Look at Dakota Phillips, and Flagg is looking up by his neck area.
Yeah, I think that caught somewhere around his neck, throat area. Some catchers' masks will have an extension that hangs off to protect that a little bit more. And Phillips is not wearing one that has that, but it does go around most of his jawline. I think it just got up under his mask there. Certainly a scary sight to see, not something you want to happen as a catcher. Imagine it'd be very painful.
So Phillips okay, he's back behind home plate, and here comes the 0-1. It's fouled away by Symington, 0-2.
Overhead foul ball brought to you by Heads Construction. Choose the best, never regret it.
Lights are on and pretty much into full effect now on this Friday evening from the River City. 0-2 to the lefty is outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Otters bullpen is still quiet. There's no stretching. There's no walking around. There's no throwing. There's just a bunch of guys sitting on plastic blue chairs, their legs kicked up, watching Holdgraver continue to work. The 1-2 is swung on and chopped right side. Coming in is Olsen in a nice glove on a high hop to then catch it around his feet Step on the bag in one motion, one away. Olsen has been very busy over at first base tonight, making multiple nice plays.
Yeah, a guy who we've seen play so many positions this year. He's truly the ultimate utility guy, but he's fielded his position very well at first base when he's appeared there this season.
Gage Howard, left fielder, comes to the plate. He's 1 for 3 on the day. 1 out and nobody on here in the top of the 6th. Schaumburg 4, Evansville nothing. Oldgraver comes home outside to Howard. 1-0. Howard second in batting average and hits on the Boomers. Was with the Dodgers organization the last few years. Played last year with the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes as Howard swings and misses 1-1. Rancho Cucamonga out in the Inland Empire in Southern California near San Bernardino. He's fit really well into the leadoff spot. This is the 11th game leading off now in a row for Schaumburg. And they're 7-3 since he's started leading off. The 1-1 outside to Howard, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, a guy who played collegiately at New Orleans, was there for 3 years, and had a couple of seasons there where he was really strong at the plate. Batted .330 in 2019.
Comes the 2-1 to Howard. It swung on up the middle and caught by Oldgraver. How did he do that? Oh my goodness. Oldgraver looks shocked that he caught it himself. I don't know if he caught it a little bit with his chest as well. I think it did. And Max Peterson, the pitching coach, quickly signaling to Dr. Mandy again to come on out and look at Oldgraver. I think he partially caught that in the chest and then with the glove. That was a hot shot too.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see a pitcher get his glove to a ball and it'll be sheer self-defense reaction, but I don't even think that was the case here with Oldgraver. He just had his glove kind of rested against his abdomen and the ball just found its way in between the two. Not even really much of a reaction. The ball just ended up in his glove.
99 miles off the bat, right up the middle at Oldgraver, and somehow the ball ended up in his mitt, and hopefully he's all right. Wincing a little bit. I think it was signaling somewhere up near the chest it must have hit him. Always scary, and somehow it turns into an out.
Yeah, certainly one of the scarier aspects of baseball is a comebacker hit very hard at the pitcher, and that'll get your heart racing. It'll certainly spook you, and not always the easiest to carry on after something like that happens.
So 2 down, first 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Britt Milizzo, the center fielder, to the plate. Takes the first pitch inside, 1-0. Evan the Otter is right in front of our broadcast booth, doing it all. He's putting sunscreen. He's attempting to feed people popcorn, but he's just spilling it all over everyone. This whole poor family is covered in popcorn now. Milazzo flies one down the line and right into the Otters bullpen. Everyone's okay down there. 1-1. Is that sunscreen? Is it silly spray?
I think it's butter spray. I'm not sure, actually, because he's spraying it directly on people. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, sunscreen won't actually do any good right now. The sun is set. What? Oh, it's butter spray for the popcorn.
That's what I thought.
Milazzo swings and misses 1 and 2. There's butter. What is this a new thing? What is butter spray though?
I don't know. You learned about the spray version of pine tar. Hopefully that's not what he has.
Did not know there was a butter spray though. I mean, this makes sense with popcorn, but now this family is spraying on each other. Evan's just walking around with popcorn as Milazzo fouls one off. Who is popcorn? As this Evan the Otter is wandering around and he's trying to feed people popcorn. The good news is Evan the Otter started unbuttoning his jersey last night, and weren't sure if he had a few too many drinks. His jersey is all buttoned tonight, but he's just offering free popcorn out to anyone. 1-2 to Milazzo. Hard hit ground ball down to a knee as Viola to glove it. Throw to first. Stretch Wilson. He got him. Oh, what a play by Khalil over at short. playing it off a hop, keeping it in front of him, and a bullet down to first base where Olsen goes full splits to catch it and keep his foot on the bag. What a way to end the sixth. And Holdgraver works his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. 4-0, Schaumburg leads. We go to the bottom of the sixth on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
DrinksComePlay.com now at stands. We salute the North Coastal Vikings winning earlier today a Class 2A state championship in softball. Congrats to them. And let beautiful Bosse Field be the venue for your next celebration with one of our grandstand picnics, and you and your guests will receive an exclusive Otters special edition hat. If you'd like to be a part of an upcoming Evansville Otters home game, it's simple. Go to EvansvilleOtters.com and call 842-435-8686. The catcher, number 7, Dakota Phillips.
Welcome back to Bosse Field, a 4-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville as we move to the bottom of the sixth inning. Dakota Phillips leads off for the Otters. He's 2 for 2 today. Phillips swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. Still, it feels like the most action we've gotten from any Otter today is by Evan the Otter, who just finished his bag of popcorn by just dumping it on some poor older lady's head as Phillips takes outside for a ball, 1-1. She was quite amused.
Her husband certainly was as well, if that's who that is with her. He's laughing very hard the entire time and encouraging it.
She is still cleaning off her hair. I might need to take a shower after. Takes outside, 2-1 to Phillips.
Yeah, the family that he was dumping it on the inning before, I'm not sure they got it all out of their hair, as I still see some.
2-1 to Phillips is on the outside corner for a strike, 2-2. I don't know. Evan has hit summer, and the water is warmed up back home in the Ohio River, and he has been fully rambunctious at the ballpark the last couple of days. He's been all over the place.
Yeah, it's been absolute anarchy. It doesn't seem to have any rules anymore.
Hey, school's out, right? It's just time to have fun in the summer. 2-2 count to Phillips. Schlottman winds and throws, and Phillips takes on the outside corner for strike 3. Phillips can't believe it. His hands are on his He's back down, and he walks back to the dugout in a distraught gait. Schlottman has his 6th strikeout of the game. That brings up Jeffrey Baez with one away and nobody on. Baez has struck out twice today. First pitch to Baez is swung on and missed, 0-1. Baez swings and pops one up behind home plate. Back is Grant Parks looking up, doesn't see the ball because it's bouncing off the roof of the grandstands. The Otters have gone 24 consecutive innings without plating a run on a ball in play.
Yeah, how about that? We mentioned yesterday all their runs coming from the long ball. And other than that, they just haven't been very efficient when they've gotten runners on base.
We go back to the 7th inning of their win on Tuesday to find a ball hit in play that scored a run. They were shut out on Wednesday as Baez takes inside 1-2. Shut out on Wednesday. Then yesterday, all 6 runs on the 3 home runs, as Lucas mentioned, and so far today, shut out. And they were also shut out on Sunday, lost 1-0. This time is called by Baez. It was not a great week last week for the Otters. They hit 196 at the plate over their last 5 games, and it's not been pretty this week either, as Baez takes low 2-2. The Otters won 8 games in a row towards the end of May, including a perfect week here at Bosse Field in the second week of the season. Won all 6 and then went on the road and won their first 2 for 8 wins in a row. 2-2 to Baez is fouled away straight back. Since then, though, the Otters have basically just played 500 baseball. Gone 2 straight weeks going 3-3. And Evan is now, he's pouring water down his mouth. He's just out of control tonight. I don't know what he's doing anymore. He's pouring some sort of drink down his mouth, which seems bad for the fur. But the Otters, anyways, they've gone 3-3 the last 2 weeks, and if they lose tonight, they'll be at 2-2 so far this week. 2-2, Baez pops up sky high in the air on the infield, tosses the bat towards the dugout. Pitcher looking up and making the catch and doing a somersault on the ground as he holds on. Oh, come on, Kobe Schlottman. He's shutting out the Otters, and he's doing catches and somersaults on the field. Wow.
Interesting decision to come pretty far off his mound and make that catch. We know with the lights and airflow off the roof at Bosse Field, infield and foul ball, fly balls are very hard to read, and where your left side of the infield just kind of stayed in place as Schlottman was calling that the whole way.
First pitch to Quiggle is in for a strike. Schlottman, the ball kind of went over his head, and he reached back and made the catch and lost his balance and then just did a full-on somersault backwards on the grass as Quiggle takes low 1-1. I don't know. I've tried doing somersaults recently, and I've become too old to do a somersault.
Well, maybe what you need is a fly ball over your head that just forces you to do one.
You can probably still do a somersault. You're a D1 athlete. 1-1 to Quiggle. Swing and a miss, 1-2. A breaking ball tied him up. Schlottman is a strike away from 6 shutouts, and home plate umpire Mike O'Leary came out to share some words with Schlottman. Didn't hear a sign for a pitch clock violation. Maybe just some words of wisdom. Comes the 1-2. It's high. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Quiggle. 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 6th. 4-0 lead for the Boomers. Evansville has just 5 base runners tonight. 4 hits and 1 reaching on an error. The 2-2 is outside 3-2. And go back for Schaumburg. They had no hit Florence last night. They've gone now 15 innings, verging on 16, allowing just 4 hits. Payoff coming to Quiggle. Schlottman winds and fires. Quiggle swings, drives one down the right field line. Symington at the track, looking up, and it's foul. Just to the right of the right field foul pole.
We saw a ball by Noah Myers just hook around the foul pole last night and stay fair. I thought maybe off the bat that ball from Quiggle was going to do the same.
Quiggle narrowly missing his 4th home run of the season. Schlottman is behind the mound resetting himself and wiping off some sweat from his head. That was close to ending his shutout streak. That he's now at 17 make it total innings without allowing a run on the mound. Comes the payoff to Quiggle. It's swung on and popped up right side or left side make it. Third baseman Prater in foul territory looking up. And he just never saw the ball. It bounces along the warning track of the foul line, and Prater never picked it up in the expansive foul territory here at Bosse Field. Quiggle made a long run. He's slowly coming back to pick up his bat, which is it pink? Is the bat? So if not, it's a very light colored red.
I think it's just a redwood.
It's a pretty color. Comes another payoff. Swing and a miss by Quiggle. Colby Schlotman sends them down in order in the 6th. He has 7 strikeouts and he has 6 shutout innings of the Otters. 4-0. Schaumburg leads on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
T-shirt fan is here. Who wants a T-shirt? You have to get louder, make more noise. Skip the line or get to the comfort of your own home with self-service options and Heritage. Proud partner of Evansville Otters baseball. Make more noise. We have more T-shirts. Who's louder? First base or third base side? Our next prize, Honor Season tickets. The Honor Season ticket winner that needs to go to the other concourse. 1320607. 1320607. Winner of the Otters season tickets. Hunter Clucky in to pitch the battery. Clucky on the mound. Phillips behind the plate. The answer auto repair East 2319 North Bit of a Rotary 124759000. Tell them Zane from the Otters sent you. Leading off at second base, 15 Chase Dawson.
Otters have gone to the bullpen for the top of the 7th inning. The Boomers lead the Otters 4-0 here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Hunter Clucky, the lefty from Henderson County, Kentucky, into the ball game for the Otters and throws a first pitch strike to the lefty Chase Dawson to start off the top of the 7th. Southpaw kicks and throws, and Dawson lunges at one, pops it up into shallow center. Coming in is Quiggle, diving, and did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Coda Quiggle, what a play in center for the first out of the inning.
We've seen a few highlight reel plays from Quiggle in center this year, and that one, a ball that looked like he just didn't read in the lights when it came off the bat, and it causes him to get a very late jump, but another great display of athleticism from the Otters center fielder.
Incredibly athletic by Quiggle, full dive forward, putting his body on the line to get the first out of the inning as Blake Berry stands in and takes a first pitch outside for a ball. Good to see Berry doing all right after he fouled a pitch off his foot and struggled to get down the first base line when he hit one in play. 1-0 by Berry is sprayed foul, 1-1. Clucky, the one of 2 lefties in the Otters lineup, facing this dominant lefty lineup for the Boomers, making his 9th appearance of this season, a 1.8 ERA. 1-1 is away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Clucky, 10 innings pitched, has allowed just 2 earned runs, 7 hits, 15 strikeouts in those 10 innings, and 7 walks. He winds and throws. It's low for a ball, 3-1.
Max Peterson, a pitching coach that really likes to work the matchups, and we knew it would be almost automatic that we'd see De La Cruz or Clucky out of the bullpen first tonight.
3-1 is high for ball 4, and Berry works a walk. He's aboard for his 3rd time today. 2 hits and a walk now for the Petaluma, California native Berry. Brings up Quinton Selma with 1 on and 1 out here in the top of the 7th. And Berry is going to be pitch run for. I think he's still not 100%. He's limping that right leg, hit in the foot. So he's going to be pitch run for by Kyle Fitzgerald down at first base. It's just a DH spot, so doesn't cause any shuffling in the field for manager Jamie Bennett. Fitzgerald will just take the spot at Barry over at first. Selma, the lefty, now the batter. He's trying to avoid wearing the golden sombrero today, as he struck out 3 times. Takes the first pitch inside for a ball from Clucky. Tim Holgraver in line for just his 2nd loss of the season right now, as he allowed 4 runs on 9 hits and 2 walks. It's been 6 shutout on the other side for Kobe Schlottman. Selma takes a strike, 1-1. Clucky kicks and throws and popped up, flared down the left field line. Base hit for Selma. Lands softly a few feet from the left field line. A little flare by Selma. Base hit here in the 7th, and there's 2 on with 1 out.
And Selma putting the 3 strikeouts behind him. With that,
Last call for the Ducks.
all 9 players in the Boomer lineup have now reached base. It's been a really good night at the plate for them. We knew coming into it was going to be a pitcher's duel of sorts. Something was going to have to give, but the red-hot Boomer bats have shown up in Evansville.
Well, Prater will be pinch hit for Travis Holt,
Last call, Ducks.
taking the 3rd base spot and the 6th spot in the lineup here for the Boomers, with 2 on and 1 out. Fitzgerald at 2nd and Selma at 1st. The Boomers trying to put this ball game away here in the top of the 7th. A righty batter, which maybe partially be part of the change with Prater a lefty. Holt takes a first pitch strike. Hitting .246 on this season. Recent graduate of Butler, back in the Hoosier State. The 0-1 is a check swing on a ball down in the dirt, but he went around 0-2. There's some action, but no, actually there is some throwing in the Schaumburg pen, so we'll see if the day is done for Kobe Schlottman after 6 solid shutout innings. Clucky winds and fires, and a swing and a miss by Holt. That bounce back by Clucky after giving up the base hit. He strikes out Holt on 3 pitches for his first strikeout of the game. 2 away with 2 on, as it brings up the shortstop, Alec Craig. Lefty batter Craig, he's 1 for 3 today with a base hit in the 5th. Clucky winds and throws. Craig takes outside for a ball. 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th. The 4 runs for Schaumburg. Nothing but goose eggs for the Otters. One-0 to Craig is outside 2-0. Runners started and then stopped. A little dancing trickery by Fitzgerald and Selma on the base pass for the Boomers, trying to distract Clucky on the mound. Elsewhere tonight in the Frontier League, both of these teams are getting some help in St. Louis as Tri-City leads Gateway 5-1 in the top of the 7th. Gateway has found about every way to win lately, so certainly in that ball game as a slider gets away from Phillips and rolls all the way back to the backstop, and both runners are going to advance. Fitzgerald goes to 3rd and Selma goes to 2nd. A slider that got away from Phillips behind home plate. So 2 in scoring position now with 2 outs and a 3-0 count to Craig.
Yeah, a couple of quiet innings before this for the Boomers, and one thing they want to do with runners in scoring position here is break this ball game open and try to put it to bed before the Otters can have a chance to work their way back in it once Schlottman gets off the mound and they get to the Boomer bullpen.
3-0 count to Craig. Clucky comes home. It's inside for ball 4. Craig works a walk. The bases are loaded for the 3rd time today for the Boomers. And Blake Grant Parks, the catcher, who has had quite a day, a 2-hit day, including a solo home run in the 2nd and 2 runs, comes to the plate with the bases juiced. Under the day, hitting just .214, but it hasn't mattered for the former CSU Monterey Bay player, now the veteran in the Frontier League, as he takes the first pitch strike. The Manatees of CSU Monterey Bay, D2 powerhouse in baseball. The 0-1, outside 1-1. Fitzgerald is at 3rd, Selma at 2nd, Craig at 1st with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. The Otters need an out here. The 1-1 just misses outside, 2-1. A slider that narrowly missed the outside corner. Here comes the 2-1. It's high for ball 3. Clucky had one appearance at Quebec where he really struggled with his command and had 3 walks. He's at risk of throwing his 3rd walk of his outing here in the 7th, and it would walk home a run. 3-1 pitch coming, a kick and a throw, swing and a miss by Grant Parks. And now comes the biggest pitch of this ball game. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a full count to Grant Parks. The Otters with a strikeout can keep this a ball game. Clucky at the belt. Long look in, kicks and throws, and it's fouled straight back. Grant Parks just stays alive.
We talked about Otters pitchers walking 20 hitters in the last series. Certainly not a series or a trend that Max Peterson wants to see continue into this series.
Another payoff pitch coming from Clucky. Here it is. It is on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout for Clucky and the Otters. Schaumburg leaves the bases loaded in the 7th, and it's still just a 4-run ball game. 4-0 Boomers. Stretch time at Bosse Field on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, and we'll root for the Otters. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Nicely done. Let's get some runs. Call the bullpen, number 31, Christian Scott to pitch the battery. Scott is on the mound. Grant Park behind the plate. Pitch against your battery is powered by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs the Answer Auto Repair East, 2319 North Freedom Road. Or give them a call at 12475-9000. Tell them to save from the Otters. St. Hugh. Leading off to the Evansville Otters. Designated hitter number 28, Yomar Reyes.
Welcome back to Bosse Field for the bottom of the 7th inning. Great crowd on a Friday night, but so far not a whole lot to cheer for the Otters fans, as it's a 4-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville. And good news for the Otters, they're going to finally face someone that's not Kobe Schlottman, as Christian Scott, the righty, is out of the bullpen. First guy out of the bullpen for Schaumburg. 4.15 ERA for Scott in 9 appearances. 2-1 record in 13 innings pitched. He's allowed 6 runs, struck out 17, and walked just 2. His first pitch to Jomar Reyes is low for a ball to start the bottom of the 7th. He'll face 6, 7, and 8 to start out in the bottom of the 7th. Reyes fouls one off, 1-1.
And as a lineup, if you have a pitcher who's been so hot on the mound lately and is just dealing against you, the most welcoming sight can be the bullpen, and Schlottman only goes 6 innings today.
1-1 on the inside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Scott has struggled on the mound of late. His last 2 appearances, he's given up 2 runs each time on 3 hits. 1-2, Reyes fouls straight back.
Sure, Andy McCauley and company are happy that they get 3 innings to work with here that are against a pitcher not named Kobe Schlottman.
The Otters have mightily struggled against lefties. His time is called by Reyes, and talked about the Otters being shut out already twice in the last few days, on Wednesday and on Sunday, and both of those shutouts were against lefty starters. They've lost 5 times on the season, just 3 and 5 against lefty starters. 1-2 by Reyes is popped up high in the air to shallow left. Racing in is the left fielder Howard, under it, and makes the grab, 1 away. I'll bring up Jacob Olsen, the first baseman, with 1 down and nobody on here in the bottom of the 7th. Well, the Otters relied on the home run yesterday, just 6 hits, but 3 of them home runs. But starting to feel a little bit like a trend this last week plus for Evansville. It just not much going on at the plate, and a lot of guys trending in the wrong direction. Olsen shows bunt and pulls it back for a ball, 1-0. Otters with still just 4 hits, 2 of them from Phillips, a double by Quiggle and a base hit by Reyes. Comes the 1-0 to Olsen. It's outside, 2-0.
Yeah, the Otters, a ball club that certainly struggled at the plate last year, 13th in the league in batting average, and they sit at 10th right now. Not a trend they want to see continue.
Olsen takes a strike at the letters, 2-1. Two-one to Olsen is swung on, popped up, right side. Racing over is the catcher, Grant Parks, and can't get there as it bounces right next to the Otter dugout. A couple guys had to scatter to get out of the way and avoid being hit. 2-2. Evansville's offense, the batting average is really low. Just 249, but runs per game at nearly 6 is still 6th in the league. They have the stolen bases 2nd in the league. They have the home runs 5th in the league. They've been hit a lot as well, lead the league in that. But they haven't been able to do any of those 3 things tonight. They haven't stolen a base, they haven't hit a home run, and they haven't been hit as Olsen fouls one right side and out of play.
Yeah, certainly have never been a team to consistently hit for average, but as you referred to, they make the most out of their chances, and stolen bases have certainly helped.
2-2 is outside 3-2. They've only been thrown out 3 times, too, in those 51 attempts. But we haven't seen, and they had 3 stolen bases on Tuesday, and since then we haven't seen a stolen base we've seen 1 stolen base make it by the Otters, by Myers yesterday. Haven't seen any attempts today. Payoff to Olsen is popped up on the right side in foul territory. First baseman Selma over under it and makes the grab. Most ballparks that's out of play, but he was still on the grass here with the huge foul territory dimensions at Bosse Field, and there's 2 away. I mean, not to pile on to the struggling offense, but not just a lot of outs right now for the Otters, but a lot of lazy pop-ups where they're getting well under balls. This isn't like they're hitting balls hard and getting unlucky right now.
You've seen a lot of balls popped up around the pitcher, catcher, first base area, a lot of them in foul territory.
First pitch to Troy Viola is at the knees for a strike, 0-1.
Something you want to take pride in is you're going to make outs as a baseball player, but can you make those quality outs and can you limit your pop outs in the infield?
Viola takes low for a ball, 1-1. Tri-City is pulled away from Gateway in the bottom of the 7th under the shadow of the St. Louis Arch. Tri-City, after dropping the series here to Evansville, is going to help out both of these 2 teams, it looks like. And the Grizzlies, just their 2nd loss in their last 14 games. Viola takes outside, 2-1.
And if the results were to hold, this would move the Boomers just 3 games back from the Grizzlies.
2-1 is found straight back by Viola, 2-2. Big matchup on the other side of the standings tonight, too. In Sussex County, top 2 teams in the Frontier League East, the New York Boulders and the Sussex County Miners, playing quite a ball game. They're tied at 4 now in the top of the 10th in northern New Jersey. 2 rivals right across the New Jersey-New York border from each other. 2-2 to Viola, swing and a miss. And the Otters go down in order in the 7th. New pitcher, same results. 4-0. All Schaumburg tonight as we go to the 8th on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to sumo! We've got Zach in red, Brian in blue. Best 2 out of 3 rounds is going to be our winner. You must knock your opponent to the ground. Wrestlers, on your mark, get set, go! And yes, they did drink beer before this. Blue takes the first round. All right, Blue, easy. We're not fighting dirty here. Reset. We're going for round 2. Or not. This is round 2. Blue! Evan, go! I think it's just complete chaos. Give a round of applause for Zach, Brian, and Evan, the Otter. Sumo brought to you by Velvet Ice Cream. Get your Velvet Ice Cream behind third base concessions. Just stay away from me. Don't wrestle me.
We've got our largest item of the night next to give away on the list, a Blackstone griddle. And the winner of that Blackstone griddle is ticket number 4208783. 4208783, the winner of a Blackstone griddle, 4208783. Go to the outer concourse.
Back at Bosse Field on the shores of the Ohio River on a perfect Friday night for baseball in the middle of June. 4-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville. There's a lady yawning behind home plate right now on our monitors, and, well, we've been doing the same, to be honest. That's what the Otters' bats have acted like tonight. Just 4 hits and shut out as Miles Symington to the plate takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. There's still a chance here for some Bosse magic. The Otters have not won a game when trailing in the 6th inning or later. Try to reverse that tonight. 4 is surmountable, but the Otters' offense is looking dead in the water right now. Symington takes outside, 1-1. Pitch is outside, 2-1 to Symington. Mentioned he played at Purdue for 2 seasons. 3rd team All Big Ten in 2021. Led the team in doubles. Really speedy guy with the Boilers. Purdue had a really good team 2 years ago. Takes outside, 3-1. They were actually the last team in college baseball to lose a game 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, they were so dominant in the beginning of non-conference play. Kind of evened out quite a bit throughout the season, but
3-1 to Symington is on the outside corner, 3-2. Troy Viola playing for the Otters, a former Boilermaker, but they did not play together, as Viola spent just last year at Purdue after Symington had transferred out to South Alabama. Payoff is on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Symington had tossed the bat. He's in shock. His mouth is open. You can't believe it. He's walking back to the dugout with his mouth just wide open in utter shock at the call, but actually that pitch was comfortably in the strike zone according to our Yakutek call. I think it was the way that pitch had so much horizontal movement, 10 inches of vertical break, that it looked much farther out than it was as Gage Howard takes a pitch outside for a ball.
going back to the Otters' struggles tonight, we see they're wearing the throwback uniforms. As I'll touch on a point here in a minute.
Howard takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out and nobody on in the top of the 8th. 4-0 Schaumburg.
So I don't know, Griffin, are you familiar with the sleeved jerseys at the University of Evansville?
The sleeve jerseys
Yes.
for the basketball team?
Yes.
The 1-1 is a slider in for a strike 1 and 2. I'm not. I remember the NBA tried that out for a few years to mostly unpositive reviews.
So the University of Evansville basketball team, back in their days of glory into the 90s and even I think the early 2000s, would play every game with sleeves on their jerseys. They were the only team in college basketball to do that.
Really? Clucky ready on the mound for the 1-2 to Howard. He winds and fires, swung on, sounds like a broken bat. Dribbler to Skinder at second, throws to first to beat Howard by a step. 2 away. So for the 20 years, you said they wore jerseys with sleeves.
That's right.
And they were successful.
And so it was a very iconic look. And so a concept that's very popular, it's a nod to the history of Evansville. They'll wear them for multiple games every year in the modern day, but they always play very bad when they play in the sleeves the last handful of years. And so there's a lot of mixed reviews from fans as to, are we going to continue to put this iconic look above performance?
Brett Milazzo takes high for a ball, 1-0.
But the point of my story is I'm hoping that's not a trend that continues here to the Evansville Otters, who are wearing these very cool Evansville Triplets jerseys that I would like to see worn multiple times throughout the season.
1-0 is high and up, 2-0. This is, Otters wore these last year as well, last 2 years, third year of wearing these same jerseys. I should have checked what the record was the first 2 years, actually, with these. That would have been a good prep ID. One thing, and I don't know if it plays any factor, it's not especially hot, but these are wool jerseys, as the 2-0 to Milazzo is on the outside for a strike, 2-1. Back in the 80s, jerseys were made of wool, not polyester. So these are thicker and heavier than typical jerseys, and they might be a little hot and a little irritating to the players, even on a night that's now dipped into the lower 70s. It's not too hot as Milazzo takes a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, that's something. The sleeve jerseys they wear in basketball are very baggy, and someone calculated at one time the shooting percentage is significantly lower when wearing them.
2-1 is low, 3-1. Or that's actually ball 4 maker. We had the count wrong. Milazzo takes a walk with 2 outs to keep the inning going here in the 8th.
So here's one of the versions of sleeve jerseys I have pulled up here.
Oh, those are long sleeves too.
They're
Wow. I mean,
very baggy sleeves. They go all the way down to your elbow.
Yeah. I was thinking the NBA sleeves were pretty short. They just added a little bit. But, yeah, those sleeves are real sleeves.
And it's a really iconic look, but you'd have to imagine it's not easy to shoot with that once you start getting sweaty.
First pitch to Chase Dawson. Lefty takes outside, 1-0. Yeah, I can imagine him be a little uncomfortable, and it's a change of routine. And as athletes, you're a person of routine and repetition, and switching that up can be difficult. And for these tonight, they're not just normal themed jerseys. They're heavier in wool, different than, say, you wore a jersey of tie-dye, but it was the same material. Milazzo goes, thrown into second, it's not in time, as it bounces off the glove of Khalil. Milazzo has a stolen base. That's the second stolen base today by the Boomers. Milazzo's 8th stolen base of the season. He's in scoring position. It's a 2-0 count to Dawson at the plate, and Schaumburg's leading 4-0 in the top of the 8th. Lucky at the belt of the triplets jersey, fires a pitch just outside, 3-0 to Malasa. The triplets were really successful with these jerseys. They won 3 division championships and 1 AAA-wide championship. So you can win in these. But the 3-0 is low for ball 4. You can also walk a lot of batters in these.
And that's one point people will make is how successful the local basketball team was while they were wearing the iconic look as well.
So Clucky has walked 4 batters in his outing, struggling with his command, and Max Peterson is on out to have a word. There's action in the Otters bullpen. Kevin Davis is throwing, and we'll see if that's it for Clucky. It doesn't appear to be so, as Max Peterson is going to chat with the lefty. 4 walks now, a season high in an outing for Clucky. Still just a 4-run ball game. It feels like you'd have to climb Mount Everest to catch it, but again, if the Otters can just keep it at 4, it's in 2 innings, easily surmountable. Clucky will stay on the mound. He's cleaning up the mound behind home plate, get some dirt on the hands. Kyle Fitzgerald, he'll face his first at bat of the day with 2 on and 2 out. Fitzgerald pitch ran for Barry back in the 7th. Fitzgerald hitting .222 on the year. Southpaw ready, Zan comes home. Fitzgerald takes inside 1-0. Now maybe the Otters going forward, if this is an issue, they should use the triplets jerseys, but without the wool. If that's, I'm curious to chat with players and see if that affected them. The 1-0 is low 2-0. Now there's not much you can do with the sleeveless Purple Aces jerseys because the whole point, I guess, as you're saying, of them being iconic is that they have the sleeves. They could create a hologram of the sleeves, maybe. That might be an idea with some technology. You could wear them just for warm-ups. I don't know. I bet all these ideas have been thrown out on Purple Aces men's basketball Twitter, which must be quite a place during the season. 2-0 to Fitzgerald is it's inside for a strike, actually. Just caught the inside corner, 2-1. I'm not sure there's any place worse than a men's basketball team in Indiana's Twitter page when they're struggling in January.
Well, on the flip side, it can also be very entertaining if you're not a fan of the team, if you're just tuning in as an outsider.
That's true. 2-1 to Fitzgerald is on the inside corner for a strike, 2-2.
You know, I said the other day, the little spurt of games where IU was playing very bad, Twitter was quite the scene to follow as somewhat of a neutral.
You're not a neutral fan. Come on.
I want to see the whole state of Indiana succeed, so I would refer to myself as a neutral for IU basketball.
Says the man with the Purdue Boilermaker mug. As the 2-2 is lined up the middle, past Khalil and into center field. Milazzo sent. The throw is, where is the ball? It's still out in center field. Milazzo scores, and scoring from first is Dawson. It's 6-0 Schaumburg. The ball was, I don't, did you see what happened? I looked down, see Milazzo scoring, looked back up, and the ball was still in center field.
Yeah, it looked like just a little bit of a lapse of focus from Kona Quiggle there. He tried to come up firing, and he just booted the ball. It went past him without barely getting touched, and then it made its way past both him and Noah Myers in left field. So causes 2 runs to score when it normally would have just been 1.
So it goes as a base hit for Fitzgerald, and then an error in center, allowing Dawson to score all the way from first. Clucky cannot finish the 8th, and they're going to bring in Kevin Davis here with 2 outs and a runner at first. Schaumburg has added 2 in the 8th, and they lead 6-0. Back in a moment on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Evansville called the bullpen. Kevin Davis in to pitch. The battery. Davis is on the mound. The Phillips behind the plate. The answer auto repair East 2319. North Dakota Rotor lead 12475 9000. Till then, zing from the Otters. St. you. Frontier League scores for you. The final Ottawa beats Joliet 3-2 and 10. New Jersey beating Three Rivers 16-1. Florence beat Empire State 13-1. Lake Erie beating Windy City 5-2. Washington beating Quebec 7-5. Top of the 10th with New York and Sussex County tied at 4. Top of the 8th, Tri-City on top of Gateway.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. The Otters go to Kevin Davis to try to finish the top of the 8th inning as Schaumburg leads 6-0. The 6'9" Kevin Davis making his 10th appearance of the season. 9 1/3 innings pitched, a 5.79 ERA for Davis, a guy who struggled with his command at times, 10 walks, but also 15 strikeouts. 6'9" bearded righty, ball behind the back. Now comes set with the beige-brown glove at the chest and winds and throws to Quinton Selma, a first pitch inside. Schaumburg has plated 2 here in the 8th to extend their lead, their first run since the 4th. RBI base hit by Fitzgerald after 2 walks by Clucky, scoring Milazzo, and then the ball booted by Quiggle and center, and Dawson scoring from first. The 1-0 inside, 2-0 to Selma. Tomorrow's first pitch is again 6:35. Will be some excitement for the Otters as Parker Brahms will come off the IL tomorrow and make his season debut for Evansville. Really looking forward to seeing Parker take the mound. 2-0 is on the inside corner for a strike from Davis, 2-1. We talked about Jake Polancic yesterday as he came into pitch and saw him after the game. He was really excited to head off with Team Canada down to Buenos Aires. He got on a plane today down to Florida for their training, and their first game is a week from Friday. The 2-1 by Selma sprayed foul, 2-2. But that means the Otters will be without Polancic until June 23rd in a weekend series at Florence. Will meet the team there. So the Otters without their closer factor some things into the bullpen, changing things around. Super excited for Polancic. He's a mellow guy, but I could read the excitement certainly in his face yesterday when he came up to the press box after the game as Selma swings and misses at strike number 3. So Davis gets a strikeout to retire the side. 2 more runs come across in the top of the 8th for Schaumburg. 6-0. Boomers lead the Otters on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Bosse's running out of fuel. Oh.
It's all about finishing the race, Zane. Way to go, Benjamin Bosse.
It is. Mission accomplished.
Your role was represented by FJ Wrights. You are our winner. Great job.
George Khalil.
Welcome back to Bosse Field. It's a 6-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. George Khalil will lead things off for the Otters, trying to mount a late game rally and just put some runs on the board for Evansville. They're trying to avoid being shut out for the 3rd time in the last 5 games. New pitcher on the bump, it's Murphy Andrew, and his first pitch misses inside to George Khalil. Andrew making his 9th appearance of the season, a 1.8 ERA. In 10 innings pitched, he's allowed just 3 hits. Does have 8 walks, though. 8 walks in 10 innings. Khalil fouls one off, 1-1. He's a hard thrower on the mound.
Yeah, that pitch right there, clocking in at 95 miles an hour. Ran in on the hands of Khalil.
Was in the Red Sox organization last year. Native of Opelika, Florida. Swing and a miss by Khalil. He couldn't catch up to that fastball at 95 miles per hour. Some serious heat out of the bullpen here for Schaumburg, who has a bunch of excellent arms. They've got 6 guys on their staff with under a 3.0 ERA, including multiple members of the bullpen. As Khalil takes low, 2-2.
Yeah, we knew we were going to see a lot of quality pitching in this series. Schaumburg 4th in the league in team ERA, Otters 2nd. So lots of quality arms on both sides of the diamond.
2-2 coming from Andrew. Here it is. Swing and a miss by Khalil. Chase one down in the dirt. Brought it down to 88 miles per hour, but he still couldn't catch up to it. 1 away, and the Otters have struck out for the 9th time today.
How about that? A little bit of a power curve, it looked like. Just falls off the plate, 88 miles an hour. That is some nasty stuff.
Noah Myers to the plate, the left fielder. Leadoff batter. He's 0 for 3 today. Myers takes inside for a ball, 1-0. Nobody on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. 6-0 lead for Schaumburg. Now I pose a question to you, Lucas, as a couple is celebrating their 50th anniversary tonight at the ballpark here at Bosse Field, which is incredible. Congratulations. Here comes the 1-0 to Myers. Broken bat flare on the infield. Back is Andrew. In is the third baseman, Prater, to make the catch behind the mound. Good read by Prater to race behind the mound and make the catch. Myers has broken a bat for the 2nd time today. So bring up Ethan Skinder, the second baseman, with 2 outs and nobody on. So they're celebrating their 50th anniversary, and I actually saw this question posed on MLB Network a few weeks ago when I was watching. Is it acceptable to propose to someone at a baseball game? His first pitch to Skinder is in for a strike. This was in reaction to someone had proposed to someone at an Astros game.
It's a good question. I think there's a few factors to consider.
0-1 coming to Skinder. Andrew fires home. It's inside. 1-1. No, actually, it hit Skinder. It bumped him on the elbow. It didn't do much. Skinder didn't even react, but Mike O'Leary called it. So the Otters have a runner aboard here in the 8th. That is the first Otter runner to reach since the 5th inning. My goodness.
So I think if you're a really sports-crazed couple and it's a place that means a lot to you, it could be a cool occasion. Now, on the other hand, I'm not sure everyone's going to find that to be a special place that they want a really memorable life event to occur.
Dakota Phillips stands in, takes a first pitch strike with 1 on and 2 outs, bottom 8, 6-0 Schaumburg.
I know you also run the risk. You got a lot of really random people around you that you don't necessarily know.
That's a great point.
Some people would like that. Some necessarily don't want that attention brought to their special moment between the two of them.
The 0-1 to Phillips, swing and a miss, 0-2.
So
if you're going to do it right, you do it on the Jumbotron, though, so everyone can see.
Yeah, you'd have to make someone aware of it beforehand. But also, there have been a few moments in history where someone has said no to the proposal, and it's ended up being very awkward.
0-2 is inside. Look out. Phillips just gets his head out of the way when it's 96 on the gun. You don't want that touching you. 1-2. Yeah, I think even someone could say yes in that moment, but if everyone's watching, there's no way you could say no, right?
You might feel pressured into something you maybe hadn't discussed beforehand.
Right, and then you might have to go the next day and be like, actually, never mind. 1-2, Phillips pops one up, left side, Prater over, and it gets out of play.
Overhead foul ball brought to you by Heads Construction. Choose the best. Never regret it.
So you will not be planning to propose to anyone anytime soon at a ballpark on your end.
As someone who holds sports in a special place in their heart, I don't think I would do it there. It's just a different vibe than what I'd be looking for.
1-2 inside, and it gets by the catcher Grant Parks and all the way back to the backstop. Skinder back to second. Another 96-mile-per-hour pitch from Andrew. Skinder in scoring position. 1-2 count with 2 outs to Phillips, who is 2 for 3 today. He has 2 of the 4 Otter hits.
Although I'm not sure necessarily a predicament I'll find myself in anytime soon, the way things have been going.
Oh, don't say that. The 2-2 outside, a full count to Phillips.
Maybe if I spend less time researching mascots of colleges, we can speed up that process.
Less time watching Reds games and then more time.
I don't know about that.
You could go to a Reds game and meet someone there. Then you could propose a Great American Ballpark. That'd be perfect. Phillips takes high for ball 4.
What about a NASCAR race? That's somewhere that you think you would personally
Would I propose at a NASCAR race?
No, not propose, to find your future wife.
Would I find my future? I'm going to say that's unlikely, considering I haven't been to a NASCAR race yet.
Okay.
I tell you, if I am going to a sporting event, goal is not to go find a mate, but obviously sometimes things surprise you and where you show up. That'd be a good question. Has anyone met their future mate at Bosse Field? I don't know. That whole party with the beer snake last night, certainly some young people were meeting each other. 2-2 out for Jeffrey Baez. First pitch to Baez is swung on and missed 0-1. 6-0 lead for Schaumburg. Otters, though, do have 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
If you're listening to our broadcast on the Otters Digital Network on YouTube, and you did meet your future spouse at an Evansville Otters game, please let us know in the comments.
Yes, this would be very important. Baez swings and misses 0-2, and put in your email too, because I think we'd have a great story on our hands. I'd love you to bring you in tomorrow to Bosse, and we can talk further. Maybe even have you on the broadcast tomorrow. They can provide some tips for the lonely single folks up in the broadcast booth. The 0-2 inside, 1-2 to Baez. Skinder is at second. Phillips is at first. The Otters' runs right now looking very lonely. It's just a big 0. The 1-2, Baez pops it up right side out of play. This is certainly power meets power in this matchup, with Andrew throwing up to 96 and Jeffrey Baez, the biggest power bat right now in the Frontier League, with 9 home runs.
Yeah, with the hacks Baez has been taking today, you'd have to think if he connects with one of these balls, it's going to go a long way.
1-2 count. Swing and a miss by Baez. The battle goes Andrew's way. And the Otters are scoreless through 8. 6-0. Schaumburg leads on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
Our final winner of the night is going home with a PlayStation 5. Go to the outer concourse to claim your PS5 if this is your winning ticket number. 420-8994. 4208994. Out of concourse to claim your PS5, 4208994. Third baseman for Travis Holt, leading
To the ninth inning from Evansville, Indiana. It's a 6-0 lead for the Schaumburg Boomers over the home Evansville Otters. Lucas is pounding on his mic. Calm down. He didn't mean it. We apologize for the loud noises. 6-0 lead for Schaumburg over Evansville. Travis Holt leads off the top of the ninth. Kevin Davis is back on the bump for his second inning of work. First full inning of work. Holt takes high for a ball, 1-0. Davis got an inning-ending strikeout of Selma with a runner on in the 8th to close out the inning. 1-0 is chopped foul off the side of the leg of Holt, 1-1. Elsewhere in the Frontier League tonight, how about the New Jersey Jackals? They score 2 touchdowns and then add a safety on the Trois-Rivières Eagles. 16-1 they win.
Certainly a hitter's ballpark they're playing in over there in Patterson.
How many home runs do you think they hit? Take a guess.
I'm going to guess 5.
1-1 to Holt is high, 2-1. You are a terrific guesser. They had 5 home runs. 5 home runs and 3 doubles. Rusper Estrada had 5 RBIs. My goodness. 2-1 to Holt. Check swing high up in the zone, but he went around 2-2. Estrada went 4 for 5 with 2 runs and 5 RBIs. Had a home run and a double, along with a base hit. Triple shy of the cycle. Rusper Estrada, certainly the player of the night tonight in the Frontier League. 2-2 pitch coming to Travis Holt. Here it is. Swung on and driven high in the air to left. Myers back at the warning track makes the catch. Holt narrowly missed a homer. One away here in the top of the ninth. 6-0 Schaumburg leads. It's also an exciting weekend in college baseball with the Super Regionals kicking off in the NCAA tournament. And Myers, who made that catch out and left, along with Jacob Olson, both former South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina, the number 15 overall seed in the NCAA tournament this year, won the Columbia Regional last week. And Davis fires a first pitch strike into Craig. It's an all-SEC matchup that the Gamecocks are playing in against number 2 seed Florida. Gators are winning 4-3 in the first game of a best-of-3 Super Regional down in Gainesville on the top of the 7th. Good game there. Craig swings and misses 0-2.
That's right, and the local Indiana State team making their way down to Fort Worth.
Yeah, they lost 4-1 to TCU today, so they're going to have to try to win 2 in Fort Worth. It's kind of a strange situation for Indiana State. They're actually the seeded team in that matchup. They're 15 overall. They hosted a regional last week in Terre Haute. Took down Iowa to win. Davis winds and throws the 0-2. Check swing high. Didn't go around 1-2. But due to some other events going on in Terre Haute, I know they're hosting the Indiana Special Olympics in Terre Haute, which is obviously a terrific event. And the Sycamores wanted to be respectful to that and decided to pass up hosting the Super Regional. As Craig fouls one off, 1-2.
Certainly a wonderful event they put on. You do give up a significant advantage that you have in a Super Regional and an opportunity to possibly go on to a College World Series. But they opt to go on the road, play in Fort Worth, a really difficult place to play.
Play again tomorrow. So TCU winning today 4-1. Craig watches strike 3. Beautiful breaking ball in the inside corner. Second strikeout for Kevin Davis. He's retired the first 3 batters he's faced. There's 2 away with nobody on here in the 9th. Blake Grant Park's catcher coming to the plate with 2 outs and nobody out. The really cool thing that I saw is TCU fans now getting the Super Regional sent out a GoFundMe link for the Special Olympics for the state of Indiana. Grant Park State's outside and started raising a ton of money for Indiana Special Olympics. So that was really awesome to see, and of maybe a upsetting situation for some around Indiana State turns into a really good cause. 1-0 pitch is down the middle for a strike, 1-1. Super Regionals continuing through the weekend, and the 8 winners all going to the College World Series in Omaha next weekend. Grant Park State side 2-1. Got Kentucky as well. No, there's definitely some Otters fans that are Wildcat fans. They beat Indiana last week in a wild Lexington Regional, and they are going to start their Super Regional tomorrow at LSU, which might be the toughest place to play in the country. Grant Park swings and drives one into right center. It's down for a base hit, cut off by Baez in right. And the excellent day continues for Blake Grant Parks. He has 3 hits today.
4208996.
Our report brings up Miles Symington, the right fielder, with 1 on and 2 outs. 6-0 Schaumburg leads. Otters will have a last chance in the bottom of the 9th with 5, 6, and 7 coming to the plate. Kentucky plays LSU tomorrow in the opener of that Super Regional at 2. Symington fouls it off. 1-0.
Yeah, how about a high-caliber SEC matchup? I know there was a few of those in softball Super Regionals as well. Leads to some really intense matchups.
Alex Box Stadium down in Baton Rouge is one of the great baseball environments at any level in the country, as Symington fouls when back 0-2. Expecting around 9,000 or so for the Super Regional. Absolute electricity. It's different SEC baseball once you head down south. The fan passion collegiately is just, it's incredible. And obviously there aren't a lot of pro teams in that region of the country. College baseball is all they have. 0-2 to Symington, fouled away again. So looking forward to following. Noah Myers has been keeping close tabs on South Carolina when I've been talking to him. A couple of the other players had teams in regionals last week. Exciting time to be a baseball fan. 0-2 popped up down the left field line and fell into the picnic seats. Symington giving a good battle with Kevin Davis. Good news for the Otters hitting-wise is that they at least will not see another righty the rest of the weekend. Aaron Glickstein goes tomorrow for Schaumburg. 2.0 ERA as will match up with Parker Brahms, making his season debut for Evansville. 0-2 to Symington. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball got him, and Davis has his 3rd strikeout of his outing. Works around a base hit. Schaumburg no runs in the top of the 9th. Last chance for an Otters comeback in the bottom half of the inning. 6-0 Boomers lead on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
tomorrow, Superhero Night with Old National Bank. Gates open at 5:30, first pitch at 6:35. Tickets still on sale at EvansvilleOtters.com or by calling 812-435-8686 tomorrow morning. We'll see you here at the ballpark. Sunday's game, don't forget, a 5:05 start time, our first 5:05 start time for the finale on Sunday. 2 more games still left this week at home. Center fielder number 19, Kona Quiggle.
Last chance for the Otters on a Friday night here at Bosse Field. Schaumburg leads 6-0 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Kona Quiggle will lead things off for the Otters. Evansville trying to avoid getting shut out for the 3rd time in 5 games. In danger of dropping the opener here tonight to the Boomers in this matchup between Frontier League West rivals. And if Schaumburg wins, they pass the Otters in the standings. Kona Quiggle takes the first pitch low from the new pitcher, Jake Joyce, on the mound for Schaumburg. Joyce, a 4.0 flat ERA in 9 appearances, has allowed 6 runs on the year. 1-0 swing and a miss by Quiggle, 1-1. Joyce's first appearance since last Sunday at Trois-Rivières in Canada, when he allowed 1 run on 2 hits. 1-1 to Quiggle, swing and a miss, 1-2. Evansville, if they do not score here, will go 3 straight games without scoring a run on a ball in play. 1-2 to Quiggle is just low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Otters did not score on Wednesday, have not scored today, and yesterday all 6 runs came across by the home run. A bizarre streak, really. The 2-2 is swung on and hit hard past the second baseman, Dawson, and into right field. Evansville has their first hit since the 4th inning. Quiggle has a 2-hit day.
Yeah, and even if the game's a little bit out of reach, seemingly, you want to maybe scrape a run or 2 across, get some hits in this last inning, and just carry a little bit of momentum into tomorrow's matchup in a very important divisional series for the Otters.
Offense just searching for answers right now. Jomar Reyes has had a few answers today. He's 1 for 3 today with a base hit back in the 4th. He swings and misses at the first pitch from Joyce. Reyes has quietly led this Otters offense all season. 26 hits. Just seems to find a way to get a hit or 2 each game. 1 is high, 1-1. Hitting .313 on the year, which leads qualifying batters. Otters would love another hit from here in the bottom of the 9th, trailing by 6. 1-1 coming from Joyce. Here it is. Swung on and chopped to the third baseman. Prater got it, throws to second, to 1 to first. In time, double play. 4 or 5, 4, 3. The double play from the third baseman Holt, who was in for Prater at third, to Dawson to Selma. And just like that, the bases are cleared and the Otters down to their last out and Jacob Olsen.
Yeah, really clean piece of fielding by Will Prater over there at third, and a really clean transition at second base by Chase Dawson. All around really good gloves out there.
Olsen takes the first pitch high, 1-0. Part of this bottom of the lineup that has really struggled this week for Evansville. Olsen is now 0 for 12 on the week. One-0 is high, 2 balls and no strikes. 6:35 pitch tomorrow for another night under the lights, and then Sunday will be a little bit earlier, 5:05 first pitch. on Sunday evening. Now, forecast is not looking promising right now on Sunday. So Olsen takes a strike 2-1, but we'll cross our fingers and hope the rain clears up by the evening. Tomorrow is looking like beautiful weather, though. It's going to be Superhero Night as well at the ballpark. We'd love to have you out here at Bosse Field. 2-1 to Olsen. Checked his swing on a pitch outside. Did he go around? Yes. And the Otters down to their last strike. Just 5 hits today for the Otters. If they don't muster another, this will be the second least amount of hits in any game this season for Evansville. Joyce steps off, calls time. This game approaching the 3-hour mark, 2 hours and 55 minutes. Friday night in front of 2019 this evening. One more strike needed for the Boomers. Joyce kicks and throws. It's high for a full count. Payoff pitch coming to Olsen. Joyce winds and fires. Olsen swings and grounds one past the diving shortstop Craig and into left field. Much needed hit for Jacob Olsen, his first of the week. Ends an 0-for-12 drought. The Otters have 2 hits here in the ninth, and now 1 aboard with 2 outs.
Yeah, certainly a weight off the shoulders of Jacob Olsen, and he values that at bat late in the 9th inning, regardless what the scoreboard looks like. But a good sign, and hopefully he can carry that into the remainder of this homestand.
Now it's Troy Viola with 1 on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Otters need 6 runs to tie, 7 to win. Joyce comes home. Viola takes high, 1-0. Viola, his first start of the series, just 9 hits on the year. His batting average is now dropped below 200. The 1-0 is fouled straight back, 1-1. Sussex County has walked off the New York Boulders in 10. They'll take a 1.5 game lead now up on New York in the East Division. Tri-City is 3 outs away from taking down Gateway. They lead 9-5. Viola swings and misses, and the Otters again down to their last strike. Florence stays hot too. They beat Empire State 13-1. If the Otters lose, Florence will be tied with the Otters. Joyce looking for the last strike. At the belt. Kicks and throws. It's outside. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 count to Viola. A kick and a throw, swing and a miss by Viola. And Schaumburg shuts out Evansville tonight. A 6-0 win for the Boomers over the Otters. No hit last night. The Schaumburg no hits Florence last night. Their first no-hitter in 12 years of team history. And tonight, they allow 5 hits, but they throw a shutout for the second straight night. This time of the Otters. Dominate 6-0 in this first meeting of rivals in the Frontier League West.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be an easy series for the Otters, a team that went 5-1 on their road trip in Canada. So just a lot of toughness up and down the roster, and we saw all 9 players in their lineup get a hit tonight. What a performance from Schlotman on the mound. 6 innings pitched, just 4 hits, allowed no runs, and 7 strikeouts, and it just really felt like there was a lack of quality at-bats from the Otters tonight. 11 strikeouts on the evening, a lot of just infield pop-ups early in the count, and just looking to put together some more quality at-bats tomorrow and want to get this loss behind you as quickly as you can.
Nothing going for Evansville's bats right now. They've been shut out in 3 of their last 5 games, and they fall to now 15-10 on the season. Schaumburg improves to 15-9, so they're now a half a game up on the Otters, and Evansville is all of a sudden in a tie for third place in the Frontier League West with Florence. The Otters' 11 strikeouts tied for their most on the season. Final totals, 6 runs on 12 hits and 1 error for Schaumburg. No runs on 6 hits and 1 error for Evansville. Tim Holgraver takes his second loss of the season. He goes 6 innings pitched, allowing 4 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Well, as Lucas mentioned, what a performance by Kobe Schlotman tonight. 6 shutout innings, allows just 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, and shuts out the Otters. So Evansville will hope to turn the tables tomorrow night. They haven't lost multiple games in a row in 3 weeks. They'll have to beat Schaumburg tomorrow night to continue that run. We'll hope you join us tomorrow night with our pregame kicking off at 6:30 and first pitch shortly after 6:35 right here on Flow Sports and the Evansville Otters Digital Network. But that does it for tonight from the River City. For our entire production team, our director Michael Russ, my partner Lucas Daunhauer, I'm Griffin Epstein. Schaumburg beats Evansville 6-0. Good night from the River City.